Hello and welcome to the Franchise Tag Podcast with me, your host, Freddie Hall. I hope you're doing all okay this evening on a Sunday night. I bet you're all relaxed. You've had your Sunday lunch. You maybe had a couple of beers. It's been an absolutely gorgeous day in the sun. Now it's time to relax and come and join us and watch the Franchise Tag Podcast Fantasy Football League Draft watch along with us tonight. It is going to be not like
chaos.
how usually.
It's going to be
chaos.
chaos.
Yes, it's probably going to be chaos. It's not going to be like our usual podcast. There might be a bit of swearing. Apologies if anyone is offended. I'm already going to tell you that there's names within the Fantasy Football League that are a bit offensive or I do have rude words in there. But it's going to be a far more relaxed one. I've got beer with me. Budweiser, if you want to sponsor the Franchise Tag Podcast, we're definitely open for that. Yes. Adam is joining me, my co-host, as you all know. Adam has joined this Fantasy Football League as well. This is my original fantasy football league that I've been a part of for a very long time, but we'll go more into that in a minute. This video is going to be sponsored by Empire Fantasy Football League, one of the world's biggest fantasy football games out there. Millions of people play fantasy football a year, including me and Adam in multiple leagues. But there is a brand new way to get involved as well. Pick your fantasy team on the Empire Fantasy Football League within the salary cap you are given, and you can play throughout the season. You'll compete against people worldwide. And you can even track yourself against your friends as well. You can buy and sell players throughout the season as well, and their prices match how they are actually doing within the season on the field. An added bonus in there for Empire Fantasy Football. You can also earn money to spend on your team by wagering within the season as well. But the best part is it's free to sign up. So make sure you sign up before the season starts. Get drafting your team within that salary cap limit and have lots of fun playing fantasy football. Go to www.empireff.com to start today. It's a ton of fun, and I'm sure you're going to have a great time. Throughout this video, we're going to be playing the draft. So I actually have to screen share, so I won't be able to see myself very much. So sorry if I, pop in and out or whatever, or I look slouched or whatnot. As Adam said to me, I seem very hyped up about this, but this is because it's my favorite. You know what? Get out of the way now. I fucking love the fantasy football draft. I love everything about it. Usually we have all the friends around. It's great. It's great fun and everybody enjoys it. Adam, like I said, is going to be involved with us with this league this year. Adam, are you excited? Are you fearful of the opponents? Do you have much knowledge of the opponents, to be fair?
Apart from you and Andrew, I don't know anyone at all. I think it would be really interesting because so when I first started playing fantasy football, I'd sort of joined through the Fantasy Footballers, and they had a website where you could go and meet other people that were interested. So I joined through that. So a lot of the stuff that I've been in is money leagues. This is probably the very first time that I would say this is like a home league. So it's kind of like it's people who maybe their knowledge isn't as amazing as other people that are in the league, or maybe there's people in there that are really, really good. And I think it'll be quite interesting because of that to see how it goes. I mean, is there anyone that I should be wary of who's going to go and do something completely crazy that normally they wouldn't do?
There's some crazy guys. I've already had photos from Andrew's house with us in the podcast with all the guys there. There's also the trophy handing from Andrew to Byron, who won the league last year. So, I mean, these guys are all very knowledgeable. There's some dark horses in there. There's some absolutely shoddy draftees in there. Some guys in this cannot draft. Some guys are good in mid-season. Some guys power back. I mean, it's a real mixed bag. Okay. I suppose I should give you some hint. You don't know loads about it. Our viewers don't know anything about this fantasy football league. So this league was originally called the Grange Mega Bowl. That was because we all worked at the Sketchley Grange Hotel, which is a hotel where we're from. And basically, this league has grown from like 8 teams to 10 to 12 to now 14 as our friends and other people have got involved with NFL. We had one person who took the piss a lot. So that's why Adam is now joining our league. And it's just grown from there. And we love it. Like I said, we all go around to Trev Manning's. Shout out to Big Trev Manning, who is a great guy. He's Andrew's dad. So Andrew, our co-host, this is really the league he started. Trev's in it as well. Usually it's round Trev's house and we all sit down, have beers, have pizza and all draft together. Obviously tonight, the guys where I'm from in Leicester are all drafting together, but me and you are going to do this live and do it really well, I hope. And it's going to be a good laugh. It's going to be a long video, admittedly. And over the years, it's developed. More people have been involved. Funner things have happened. So we have our trophy, which is a converted bowls trophy. For people who don't know, Andrew is pretty capable at lawn. Some would say the world's most boring sport, but it's actually really good fun. I've been to a few games. It's good. Adam can never believe that Andrew plays bowls.
Well, he's just beating a load of old people who can't see. I mean, he makes it out as though he's doing something amazing, and you just sort of think, oh, but are you? Are you really? Well,
mate, when Guinness is like £2.80 down there, you're getting down there. It's bevs galore. It's great fun.
So basically, he's there for the alcohol.
Oh, a lot of it, yeah. A lot of it.
Okay.
So as the draft has developed, I can see my Troy Polamalu shirt on tonight. I only got this because it's a bit aerated and I'm boiling hot. It's been such a hot day. So we had the trophy. We still got the trophy. And then we brought in, we all of the league, the TV show. And one of the big jokes, obviously, they've got a loser's prize. And we all started taking the piss out of Andy Dalton being the shittest quarterback. And everyone in season started like picking Andy Dalton up when they needed the quarterback, and he would be like so bad for us. Like he'd have really good weeks, someone would pick him up, and then he would like tank for the teams. So I would happen to be in a charity shop or a thrift shop, I suppose, in Leicester, and there was a Cincinnati Bengals Andy Dalton jersey for 20 quid. And I went, that is a steal. I'm having that for the loser's prize this year. That's this year and every year. So we have the Dalton is our loser's prize. I won the league not last year, but the year before, so 2019. I bought the crown, so we have an inflatable crown now. However, this year we are also, because the Franchise Tag podcast is now sponsoring this league, and it's the Franchise Tag League now. We are going to be donating some prizes as well. So, Adam, what have we got, and what are we donating to the winners?
The winner will be getting a signed Irv Smith Jr. jersey. So There you go, sign there. Irv Smith Jr. 84. It's I don't know if you can see it. So it's Beckett authenticated and all that. So yeah, that is what the winner will get themselves. One of these. So
nice, decent. Wicked. So, like I said, this is going to be a watch along. It's going to be us on our phones and stuff like that as well. You know, we're only human. We need to go for a piss. We want to get another beer. We may pop off for a moment. It's one of our responsibilities to keep people enticed, I suppose. But it's going to be fun. The draft starts in 10 minutes. Me and Adam don't know where we're drafting yet. So we're going to enter it in a second and see where we are. Shout out to Peter Scrivener of NFL Lads. He's just popped up on Facebook saying, how are you? Doing great, my man. Hope you enjoy the watch along. The NFL Lads guys, they're all on social media, on Facebook predominantly. Really great guys. Met Pete in 2019 at the first Tottenham game, I believe, in Central. Real great bloke. They've got some cracking stuff over there at the NFL Lads bunch, so give them a follow on Facebook as well. They're really cracking. Should we enter? Should we go in? Should we have a look at where we're drafting? Maybe formulate some sort of plan, maybe, of how we're going to draft. Do you want to do that?
Yeah, go for it. Do you want to go in first?
So, let's have a look. So I'm going to screen share now, and we're going to go in. There we go. So we'll share entire screen. In fact, I think I can maybe share it differently. Why don't I try share? Because I want to be able to see me in a way. Which window?
Well, you would, wouldn't you? I mean,
I do want to see me a little bit. Here we go. So I still can't see me. Oh well, that's just perfect. But we can see each other, right? You can see me.
Yeah, I can see you.
Okay, I can't see me. Maybe I'll just drag this tab and minimize it so I can see both of us, I suppose. Is that working for you?
Yeah, it's all good for me.
Cool. So it must be all good for you viewers out there as well. So we're going to enter the league now. And we'll see where we are drafting. Loading draft.
Where do you want?
I am one of them people who likes the like start or end. Like I like either 3 or 11.
See, I'd agree, but this is a 14. This is 14.
Oh my God. Number 2.
I am 1, 2, 3, 5. I will take 5th.
You are happy with 5th, yeah?
I'm very happy with 5th.
Oh, good. Right, let's move it. I'm moving stuff around, but here we go. We'll get back onto the draft here. So I am number 2, and it begins in 7 minutes. We've got, just a little rundown of who is in this league. We've got Ben's Hawks. That's Ben. He was one of our managers at the Grange. He lives over in Cornwall now. Really great restaurateur. You got me, the back and legs. It is because I have 0 arse. That is why I'm called back and legs. That is pretty much it. At number 3, we have Pirate Bay, which is Ben. He's joined in recently. In fact, am I right? Is that Ben? Is that right? Where's John? Oh, there we go. Yeah, so it is Ben. His brother Johnny, the Minshew Maniacs, is in fact, the board looks probably better here for a second. Minshew Maniacs is Johnny, who's a good friend of ours, Jaguars fan. Devante's Inferno, obviously your man Adam here, Green Bay fan. King Manning, our good friend Andrew Manning, the Giants fan. Dicko's All Stars. Dicko was again one of our managers at the Grange. So he's involved he loves NFL as well. Clip Kingsbury, I did say it was going to be maybe a bit rude at times. That is our man Byron, who won the league last year. We have the Phallus Cowboys, that's Tinch, Raiders fan there. Justice League of Harambe, which is Dan, another friend of ours. Dak Street Boys, which is Matt, our friend. He's a big Cowboys fan. Big Trev Manning, shout out to Trev Manning, we said before. Shank United, Shank, a turncoat Vikings to the Patriots fan because he absolutely fanboys over Tom Brady. And then we have Rules Deep, which is Matt, another Matt in the group who's a Seahawks fan, bit of a fringe guy, but he actually plays as well. He's a very good cornerback, I've been told, and been assured by a lot of people. So yeah, 5 minutes, mate. What are we going to do for 5 minutes? What's usually your strategy in fantasy football? But not telling us too much because obviously you're going to be implementing the strategy.
I don't mind. I'm quite happy to tell them everything. I'll still beat them. Don't bother me. So we were lucky enough to have Alvin Ryan on not that long ago, and he was, when we came out and said to him about, do you have a strategy? Do you think that there's a certain way that you should go? And he was very much like, well, you can't have a strategy specifically because you just don't know where everyone else is going to go. And I think that maybe that's something that when you're there in person, I think maybe you can kind of work out where people are going, maybe a little bit more. Maybe you can figure that out. But when you're like this, it's like, it's just the two of us. So we might be able to work out where each other are going, but we're not going to have a clue where any of them are going to go. So I think having a strategy is difficult when it comes to fantasy. The only thing I would say is that I just feel that what happens, and this happens in a lot of drafts, is the running backs just go very, very early. And as soon as you run out, you're stuck if you haven't got at least 2 starting good running backs. But the one thing I would say about this league that's going to be a little bit different is that this is a 14-team league as well. So that makes it even harder and almost even more vital that you get them running backs in early, I think. And the wide receiver class that's in the NFL at the moment is absolutely stacked. So to me, it kind of makes sense to go down that route. What will be interesting to me is, obviously, this is just a 1 quarterback league. So that's another thing I'm quite used to being in Superflex. That's something that I do quite a lot. So I think that will be interesting to see how that goes, whether anyone's going to go and spend that extra in order to get someone like Patrick Mahomes or Lamar Jackson or something like that, when really you sort of think to yourself, you don't really need to. But it'd be interesting to see if anyone goes for it. And then obviously you've got tight ends as well, which, I feel like most people kind of know that there's 3 main tight ends in this league now. And then the rest of them are sort of like much of a muchness. There's some that you feel like might do well, some that won't. So I think it'd be really interesting to see what everyone's going to do here. But for me, I think running backs are kind of the thing that you have to go for. So now that I've said that, you'll probably get the first 7 or 8 picks all running back.
So hopefully there's going to be nobody on auto pick. It does every now and then. There is a few guys who do have to go on auto pick because of their lives. That's completely understandable. Whilst talking about what we did just talk about, I'm just going to go through how our league works. As you can see on the screen, 1 quarterback, 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, a tight end, a flex of wide receiver, running back, a kicker, a defense, 6 on the bench. We have 3 reserve spaces due to COVID still happening. Scoring rules. We are PPR, so you can see the passing yards there, 25 yards per point, 4 points for passing TD, -2 interception. I'm not going to run through all these because it's fucking take fucking forever. But as you can see, going through, fairly standard for a lot of people with how this works in a lot of fantasy leagues that are out there. This is a redraft league, so unlike dynasty leagues that are out there, we are about 1 minute and a half until we start. So, very exciting times. Do you prefer redrafts? Do you prefer super dynasty? What's usually your ones that you go for?
So it's interesting. I was because I went on 2 Feet in Bounds, and he was asking me about how I got into the NFL and things like that. And I mentioned about fantasy. I've only ever played in one other redraft. Everything's always been dynasty for me. I've always found redraft not pointless, but kind of like I quite like the idea of the fact that the game goes on when the NFL season has finished, and that's something that you only get with dynasty. So I'm not very used to actually playing in a redraft league. So I hardly know anyone who's here. I'm not used to playing in it, so it should be a laugh, shouldn't it?
It's going to be good fun. We're going to have a good laugh about it. Just to let you all know that we are doing this because the point of this is Adam and Andrew are going to be doing a fantasy podcast alongside the main podcast that we do weekly, talking about our league and talking about players, talking about games and stuff like that, and really maybe just poking fun at us. Really, less than 30 seconds till the draft begins for us here. So this is why we are doing it. Make sure that you watch the Franchise Tag podcast. We're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We're everywhere at the minute. Follow us on social media. And remember, with 10 seconds before the draft starts, if you want to get involved in fantasy football, just ask around, ask on the chats, ask on the socials for fantasy football leagues and groups. Get yourself involved. It's developed so many people to watching the NFL more, and it really does help your knowledge of the NFL. I absolutely adore it. It's how my NFL knowledge is built. And for all the guys in this league, they would all say, I'm on the clock, so I've got to interrupt myself. I've got to stop talking here. So Christian McCaffrey has gone number 1. I would pick Dalvin Cook. So I'm on the clock. Do I take the full 5 minutes and piss everyone off, or should I just go for it? What do you reckon? I think I know who I want, but
I think I should probably get in the draft room.
You probably should, mate, because you're going to be very soon on the clock. I mean, yeah, he's going to be great. Dalvin Cook. I'm going to take Dalvin Cook at number 2. Traditionally, it's always been Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley at the 1 and 2 spot. With Barkley's injury history at the minute, it's just a little bit out in the air. Dalvin Cook's such a beast. The pick is in at number 3, Derrick Henry. He's gone to the guys over there. He got Kamara as well, who's gone to Johnny, to Minshew Maniacs. You are on the clock, Adam. What are you thinking here, buddy?
Well, I would have loved it if Kamara had fallen to me, I must say. So, with that in mind, there's lots of really good ones. Eckler, Elliott, there's some really good running backs there. Najee Harris is one that is definitely worth consideration as well.
Very high on that ADP ranking there.
Yeah. I don't feel like I'd go for Barkley because the problem with Barkley is the injury. You just don't know if he's going to play. Jonathan Taylor is another one. But I think I'm going to go for Austin Eckler.
Austin Eckler has gone. So he's gone there. I'm just going to quickly go back onto the camera. It's all a bit funny to the people watching. Just see if there's any comments there. Got a comment here. 16-man PPR league. Should I trade Robert Woods and Miles Sanders for CMC? I already have Dalvin Cook, but having both could be crazy, right? Wow. I mean, yeah, you should do that for sure.
I think
gone there.
I think
just gone as well.
Just quickly on that question, I think when it comes to CMC, you saw last year how it can go wrong when you put all your eggs in one basket with someone like CMC. Don't get me wrong, if you've got the 101, you're going to pick him. But the fact of the matter is that it could go wrong. And so having 2 players like Woods and who was the other one that he had?
It was Miles Sanders.
And so, yeah. So you've got a running back and a wide receiver. Sanders, okay, maybe he's not been great, but Woods, especially with Stafford there now, could really do very well this year. So I think that is certainly something you should be considering doing. Yeah.
The thing is, in 16-man leagues, though, it's so sparse, the talent, isn't it? I mean, we're in a 14-man league, and like we said, I think going past round 11, it then gets a bit sparse. And all right, having, who did he say he had? He had Dalvin Cook already. Well, you know, it depends who else you have. I mean, Dalvin Cook and Miles Sanders tandem is not bad.
No,
I don't think it's a bad tandem at all to have. And Robert Woods, like I said, with Matt Stafford there, could be great. In the last 2 picks, we've had, in fact, after your Eckler pick, we've had Nick Chubb go to Andrew at the 6th pick. We had Travis Kelce is auto-picked, admittedly, by Dicko's All-Stars at 7. Aaron Jones has gone to Click Kingsbury. Fellas Cowboys, Tinch has taken Zeke Elliott. And we're now on to the 10th pick with Justice League of Harambe, our friend Danny. You're right, with Matt Stafford playing there at the quarterback position with Robert Woods there, it's just does he go more favourable? I could see people like Van Jefferson, if he, you know, he's a speedster guy on the outside, he could really. Miles Sanders has just gone at number 10, as we talk about.
Wow.
He's a Philadelphia fan, Dan, admittedly.
Okay.
Matt, he is a Philadelphia fan. He is on auto pick. Matt, Dak Street Boys has taken Jonathan Taylor at the 11 spot. We have Big Trev Madding, the Vetty, has gone for Saquon Barkley at the 12 spot. Shankalot has gone for Stephon Diggs at the 13 spot. That's an interesting pick. That's a really interesting pick at 13.
It's not a bad pick, though, because you're starting to lose out. As you see already, the running backs are starting to go. And
he's got the 2.2. He's got the 16 pick.
Yeah,
so I'm circling back around to him.
I'm a little surprised that he hasn't gone for Devontae Adams. Does he support Buffalo?
No. Shank's a Patriots fan.
Okay, so I'm a little surprised he hasn't gone for Devontae Adams as the first wide receiver, but I can kind of see why he would go for Diggs, because Diggs did really well. And you got to think that, you know, realistically, at Buffalo is only going to get better as well.
Well, we've said we reckon there could be a Super Bowl prime team. I mean, a lot of these guys in this league, I'll admit, will draft players because of they're on their team. Like, I admit that. Click Kingsbury, Buffalo, he's going to be taking Josh Allen at some point. Minshew Maniacs Jaguars fan, he's going to take James Robinson or Trevor Lawrence at some point, very early probably as well. Rules Deep's just taken on the turn there. David Montgomery at 14 and Devontae Adams at 15. And then we're back on to Shank. The Buffalo looks so good. I just really like the way they're looking. In fact, speaking of the Buffalo fans, your podcast is shit. Hurry up, Byron. Thank you. Appreciate it, mate. You're always a great friend. It's Tyree. Oh, wow. So Shank has gone back-to-back picks. Stephon Diggs, Tyreek Hill.
Okay.
Clyde Edwards-Hilaire's just gone.
Yeah, that's a good pick. It'd be interesting, like I say, it'd be really interesting to see where it goes. When you kind of have it at the moment, at these first few rounds, they're kind of obvious picks. It's like no one's making a mistake, really. I mean, if you have Stephon Diggs and Tyreek Hill, you've got 2 really good wide receivers. Yeah. So it's not the be-all and end-all by any stretch. But, you know, as I said before, I do feel like you need to bring in a couple of running backs at the beginning, just so that you've got them 2 starters. But
it's just the sparsity of them. It's just sparsity. Yeah, it's 32 teams. Yeah, some teams now have a committee system, but that doesn't mean they're overall number ones. Really, we only have 20 number 1 running backs in this league, if not less. We've Clay with there go. Dak Street Boys, he's taking Najee Harris on auto pick there, unfortunately, on the auto pick. I love Najee Harris. Would love to him to drop to me, but well.
He's drafting a good team.
He's got Jonathan Taylor and Najee Harris. Calvin Ridley's just gone at the 2.5 spot. He to Justice League of Harambe, so Miles Sanders and Calvin Ridley. Antonio Gibson's just gone. Fellas Cowboys having a tandem of Zeke Elliott and Antonio Gibson. It's going to swing back to you very soon, mate. What are you eyeing up here?
I think, as I said before, when you look at it, the running backs are really becoming quite sparse now. And I think already. I think if you can get 2 starting running backs, you've done pretty well.
Out of the 20 picks that happened so far, 2, 4, 5 have not been running backs.
Yeah.
So what we just said, 15 to 20 starting running backs in this league. They're all gone, pretty much.
It's like, so I've got 4 picks between me. Yeah, I mean, it is reaching a point where it's almost like, where do you go? I mean, oh, what's happened? James Robinson.
James Robinson, now Joe Mixon on auto pick. Oh, does that upset you?
Well, I mean, he was there. If I could have got him, I would have done. I am a bit.
Mixon.
When it comes to Joe Mixon, definitely Mixon. But when it comes to Mixon, it's difficult because he misses games. You know, he suffers from. He does seem to suffer from injuries. But then we got told, didn't we, by Matthew Betts that it wasn't a. It's not something that's going to reoccur all the time, and that actually he would be an all right pick. So
I drafted him last year and he was awful.
Yeah, this is a problem.
It just couldn't get dependable at all. So Andrew has just gone Josh Jacobs, and we're back.
Wow, what a mental thing to do. He's put his trust in John Gruden. Wow, unbelievable. Right, so there are some really good wide receivers out there. DeAndre Hopkins, Metcalf, Allen Brown would be a great pick at the moment. But as I've said all along about the running backs, I think for me, I feel like you need to get 2 starting running backs. Now, Chris Carson has a few injury issues. I'm not sold on Darrell Henderson. Swift I think he's picked up an injury, hasn't he, recently? He's not quite.
I'm going to come off the big board a minute because I can't see what players are still available, which is.
Right, okay.
I need to know. I'm going to go on my app as well. I think alongside. I think that will help.
Swift. I'm not overly keen on Swift, although I do feel like he's going to do well.
Now I need to get off my phone and go back on here.
So the one thing I would say is there's one guy who we all know is going to be the number 1 running back for a team who runs the ball like crazy. Lamar Jackson will take a certain amount of touchdowns, but I think I read that J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards last year got something like 11 or 12 touchdowns between them. And without J.K. Dobbins there, you have to feel that Gus Edwards is going to be the guy who's, going to get the majority of them. So I'm going to go for Gus.
Bold. There's some. Like I said, not being able to see the players is really going to hinder me. This is my excuse now. When I go, I hate my team or this is that I can't see the players. So I'm just sort of in my mind now going like, who is available? Yeah, it's hard, isn't it, with Gus and J.K. Dobbins looked like he was going to have a brilliant year this year, but with his injury now,
I just feel like there's so much potential for Edwards because with Dobbins not there, like I said, I think it was something like 11 or 12 touchdowns between them last year. Okay, Edwards isn't going to get much in the passing game, but he's going to be that guy who is just going to keep pounding the ball, and he's capable of doing it.
I said Josh Allen would go early. He's done that very much on purpose so that somebody else doesn't pick him. That's Johnny sticking a middle finger up to Byron, who I can imagine are in the same room together. Definitely in the same room together according to the photo. So I can imagine Byron's having fits right now about this. And I can imagine he's pretty upset, which I don't care. Good.
Bless him.
Well, I'm nearly on the clock now anyway. So we've got Pirate Bay. He's going to take it. He's a Bucks fan. You think maybe Ronald Jones, but he is Mike Evans. Okay, he's gone Mike Evans. That's interesting. Right, let's go on to players for me. Oh, cheers, Byron. Says he is upset, but it's mainly because he's watching this shit podcast. Good for him. Right, there's fucking no one left. There's no one left.
It depends where you want to go. I mean, you can go wide receiver. There's loads of wide receivers out there. But if you want to go running back, then personally, I think Chris Carson's probably the best one. But yeah,
there's a lot up in the air. God, you know what? This is so contrary to every single draft that I've done like mock wise.
Yeah.
Like
But this is what I was saying to you about being part of like a home league as opposed to a money league or something where when you are doing mocks and you don't have that many people in the mocks and a lot of it is just auto pick. There's always some people that are going to do some things that are maybe a little bit different and a little bit out there, such as taking Josh Allen in the second round.
I'm gonna have to look something up. You keep talking. No, you keep talking.
But
mate.
yeah, I think with that, I think it'll be interesting to see what everyone does. I mean, you know, you've literally got someone there who, from what you're telling me, has picked someone purely to annoy someone else. So I think with that in mind, you could end up with anything happening, especially further down the draft. So.
Oh, I don't know. I know who I do want, but
we'll pick them then.
It's only because I think that he's got. Let's have a look. I think he's better with. Oh God, I'm so in my own head about this. No, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to take the risk. I'm going to go DeAndre Swift.
He's a really good player. I think if he can,
it's only because I think he's better with his hands than Chris Carson. Yeah. I like receiving yards there. DK Metcalf gone straight away from the Hawks there. According to Johnny, it's basically to piss him off, but it's also strategy. So I don't know what his strategy quite is.
Okay.
But apparently Josh Allen's a good second round pick. It's called strategy. Well, you've told us, but also Johnny's also been the joke of the league of coming bottom a lot of times. So you wow. So DK Metcalf and then Pat Mahomes goes.
Yeah.
To Ben's Hawks. Who do I go for here? I mean, I could get Chris Carson. I mean, I've just basically in my mind who do I take, Chris Carson or DeAndre Swift? That was my two guys I was going to go for. You look at it here. Who do you go for though? I mean, they're wide receivers. There's just so many good top guys in there. I'm going Carson just because I'm going Carson because that's what I wanted. It was them two. I've got both. I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
My strategy has always been pretty much in every mock draft is running back first 3 picks, no matter where you are.
Well, this is the point. And this is what I was trying to say. Yeah, it kind of almost like as we were saying with the running back, you know, picking running backs, they go so quickly, you lose them so quickly that you kind of almost have to take them early. And as you've just said, you know, okay, it's a long time before you gets round to you again. But look at all them wide receivers. There's some really, really top quality wide receivers there. And you have to think that you might as well go for them running backs now and get it as quickly as you can.
Checking on the comments section here. So I've got Tinch saying, better not take 5 minutes every time, Fred. I've got work tomorrow. And Tinch says, the amount of excuses flying out of Fred's mouth. There's a lot of excuses, but I'm not in front of you. I'm sat here and I can bullshit. I could say anything I want right now because they don't know what I'm like usually in the room. Usually it's pissed because usually I get there. Usually the draft's scheduled around 7. I usually get there about 4 or 5. We watch the afternoon football game. I'm quite drunk by the time draft starts. And then it all really spirals out of control. So I can sit here, you know, knowing that I'm not going to get the abuse that you all send to me. I came in with the crown. I brought the crown. I brought the dog. I bring a lot to this. Dude. I sponsor the fucking podcast for this not to say. You can all suck it and be happy. Be happy.
Now you're just alienating the viewers. You see, this is where it all goes wrong.
Alien viewers, everyone knows that in their fantasy leagues that there's that one guy that they don't like, a couple of guys, or in fact, in our league, most of the guys who we just don't like. Really, really, could you live without them? Maybe. I love
CD Lamb.
CD Lamb, wow. So Daryl Henderson did go, and now we've got CD Lamb going at the 3.4 spot. Byron says the crown now belongs to him, so stop banging on about it. Interesting story. I sent the crown to Byron in the post. And I wrote a note in it saying, heavy is the head that wears the crown. And he took the note out first and didn't realize the crown was at the bottom of it. and just read the note and went, "What is there? Some like serial killer after me? Someone stalking? What is going on here?" And then checked the bag again and went, "Oh wait, no, there's actually something in here." He just thought he'd get given a little post-it note about it, but bless him. It's going to be a long pick. You're now on the pick. It's going to be a long night of drafting. This is for us two. So yeah, 3.5. You've got 2 running backs already, Eckler and Edwards. You're getting a bit thin. I know who I would pick here. I feel like you will pick him. You didn't pick him.
Who was I supposed to pick?
Don't you worry about it. We'll wait on Andrew.
Well, he's not going to get back to you, whoever it is.
He's not going to get back to me. I doubt that at all. I would have gone Kareem Hunt personally.
Okay, so the only reason that the reason that I'm not a particularly big fan of taking Kareem Hunt is because of Nick Chubb. To me, I just feel like Chubb takes so much work away from Hunt that it's not necessarily worth going for him. Now, Gaskin,
I think
it depends what he costs. I think if you can get him in a smaller team league in say like a 5th round kind of thing, I think he's probably worth doing it.
10-team league, you could get him in the 7th, I reckon.
Yeah. Well, that like something like that would be great because then obviously but in something like this, I feel like you need to have that workload secured for you, and I feel like that Gaskin is someone who has the potential. He probably will get the workload, but I just kind of feel like he is the guy who has the potential to actually do really well. And also, all you've got is Malcolm Brown there. Now, I know Malcolm Brown did a little bit with the Rams, but I wouldn't say that he's amazing. So for me, I feel like Gaskin is the one to go for. There was Mike Davis. I could have gone for him, but I don't really want the running game from Atlanta because I think a lot of that's going to be in the air. So yeah,
I kind of prove at Carolina he can put the workload on his shoulders.
Yeah, he can, but I just feel like he's not going to get the opportunity as much in Atlanta as he did in Carolina. Carolina had that run game already, didn't they? Because of McCaffrey. Whereas with someone like where's he gone? Atlanta. I kind of feel like a lot of it goes on to Ryan anyway because it was all going to Ridley and Julio Jones and now Kyle Pitts. So.
Indeed. So in the next picks we've had, so at the Myles Gaskin, after that, Andrew took DeAndre Hopkins at the 3.6. Keenan Allen's gone at the 3.7 on auto pick. 3.8 is Justin Jefferson going to Byron. AJ Brown going to Tinch at the 3.9. Miles Davis, the guy we're talking about, has gone at the 3.10 there. And Darren Waller has gone at the 3.11 on auto pick, admittedly. Chris Godwin, though, has got the 3.12. Wow, everyone's just heated up now for the picks, really. I was going to go for a beer quickly and go and grab one, but it seems like it might come back real fast here. Lamar Jackson. Wow. So Shank United at 13 has managed to get Stephon Diggs, Tyreek Hill, and Lamar Jackson.
We've got a no running back strategy going on.
But have you with Lamar? I mean, Lamar's the points is pretty much like a running back, if not better. You could, in a way, I know him, so I know it's not great. I know he's not got strategies. He's looking at this when it gets to him.
Oh,
it's interesting because he's got two of the top wide receivers that are going to get you major points there. But you've got Lamar Jackson. Yes, you can take 2 weak running backs now, but Lamar really offsets one of the running backs. If it gets back to him now, it goes back to him now in the 4.2. He's 313. He's going back to the 4.2. So it's 2 picks away. He takes Kareem Hunt next. That's going to be brilliant for him, I think.
So now that you've told him to take Kareem Hunt, it'd be interesting to see whether he actually listens to you.
Well, I doubt he will listen to me because obviously he thinks I'm full of shit and I am full of shit. Maybe I want him to take Kareem Hunt and maybe he doesn't, so he falls to me. I don't know. I have no idea. Either way, I'm going to quickly go grab a beer. Adam, you're going to have to entertain the viewership, which is at a very low number, but it's fine. I did buy the crown myself, Tinge. I did go and buy the crown. I admit it. I had to crown myself because I was the king of this league. Right, go for a beer and I'll be back in a second. I will keep an eye on my phone just in case of coming back to the pick here for me. What do you want to talk about while I'm away, Adam? What are you going to talk to the people about?
I don't know. Well, the fact that Chase Edmonds has just gone.
The fact that
And
Chase
Alan Robinson in the 4-1. It's a good pick, Alan Robinson. George Kittle. He definitely doesn't like running backs at the 4.
You keep going through them, my man.
So yeah, it'd be interesting to see where everyone goes. I mean, at the moment, when you look at who's left, let me just get it up on my phone. There's not much running back depth left. So for all you people out there that have only gone and got yourself 1 or 2 running backs, you're going to need another one, and there's not a lot there. So Adam Thielen's just gone at the 4-3, and scary Terry McLaurin has made it all the way down to the 4-4. Very good pick this year, Terry McLaurin. I think with someone like Fitzpatrick, he's going to make a big difference to him. So I can see him really flying this year. Let's see who's going to be next. Julio Jones. He's gone for the Tennessee Titan new boy. Interesting pick. A lot of wide receivers going now. Who's going next? Can you save some wide receivers for me? That would be lovely. Oh, come on, man. What's going on? We've got stuck. One thing that's quite interesting that I've noticed, we've only had the 3 main tight ends gone off the board at the moment. It's a little surprising that someone hasn't taken a gamble on someone like Hockenson, or, you got Mark Andrews, Cole Pitts, the new boy in Atlanta. That's another one that you would have thought that maybe someone might have had a go for, but it's only the 3 at the moment. So it'd be interesting to see what happens. Tyler Lockett has just gone. Good receiver there in Seattle. I think it's definitely going to be the DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett show in Seattle. So I think that'll be very interesting to see what happens for him there. You've got a really nice stack of AJ Brown and Tyler Lockett as your 2 wide receivers. In fact, a really nice team, actually, if you look at it. Zeke Gibson, AJ Brown, and Tyler Lockett. I think a lot of people would like that. Where are you going to go? Come on. Who are you going to go for?
What have I missed?
Not a lot. Just a load of wide receivers, really. Gone.
Those wide receivers. So what we had George Kittle go left at that. Adam Thielen gone to Trevor Manning with a team of Barkley, Edwards-Helaire, Godwin, Thielen, decent there. Terry McLaurin, Scary Terry going 4.4 on auto pick. 4.5 Julio Jones, 4.6 Tyler Lockett. Which team out of the teams that have now had 4 picks do you like? Which one are you going on? That's a decent team now.
Well, I just said that
sorry,
I
I'm
know.
vaguely listening when I've
I
been.
just said that the one team at the moment that's looking really nicely balanced is the one that's just taken Tyler Lockett.
Hmm.
Having Zeke, Antonio Gibson, AJ Brown, and Tyler Lockett. I mean, that's a really nice team there.
And so
And
Cooper
both,
Kupp's got 4.7
yeah,
auto picks, just picked Robert Woods at 4.4, back-to-back Rams receivers there. Russell Wilson going to Andrew, and you're back on the clock, Adam.
I am. Well, I've taken plenty of running backs now, so I'm gonna have to go wide receiver before all the good ones are gone. Amari Cooper's there. I don't know why. I've never been a massive fan personally, so I won't be taking him. I could go for Deontay Johnson, DJ Moore, Joe Judy. But when you start looking at these guys now, you're starting to move away from maybe like the number one wide receiver of the team. To me, I mean, they've got three good wide receivers, but one guy that I know is going to get a lot of receptions, and it is 1 point per reception in this league, is Deontay Johnson. So I will be taking your boy. And
that's a risky pick for me.
See, I like Johnson because I think that although the ball's not going to be thrown as much as what it was before in Pittsburgh, I do feel that for whatever reason he seems to be Big Ben's first read all the time. So I think because of that he'll be the one.
Yeah. It's now time for me to lock in. So Mark Andrews has gone at the 4.11 and Chase Claypool at the 4.12. So it's back on to me. I've got very close back-to-back picks. I'll go on to the players here. I am going to take a wide receiver for sure. In fact, what QBs are out there? No, not for me yet. Tight ends. I mean, Kyle Pitts is interesting. So is Hockenson as well. It is going to be wide receiver for me, but which one do I take? I mean, there's a lot going on here. I mean, we could go pretty much nearly back-to-back Pittsburgh receivers all in a row with Juju Smith-Schuster. And obviously me being a Steelers fan. But I'm going to take Matthew Betts' advice. And I'm going to take DJ Moore.
Yeah, it's good.
I believe he was very hot on DJ Moore when we chatted to him. I'm very hot on DJ Moore. We said in our predictions videos that they are going to be out. Spoiler alert, that I am very hot on the Panthers. I really like the look of them this year. I think Sam Darnold's a very capable quarterback. DJ Moore is the number one for me. I know Robbie Anderson's in there as well. But for me, DJ Moore is the stud amongst the group. Maybe more of a dynasty pick, I reckon, DJ Moore. But I like him a lot. I really, really like him.
I think he's a really good pick. My only concern with DJ Moore is Sam Darnold. That's the only concern is how Sam Darnold does on a brand new team. I'm quite hot on the Panthers as well. I think he will do pretty well there because it's the best team that he's ever had around him. So because of that, I think that he's definitely a good pick to have. But the only thing I would say when it comes to Darnold is that, you know, he's had problems before. Hopefully he won't again. And so because of that, there is that kind of niggling thing about Darnold where you'll probably find that he probably won't even be taken in this draft. And so that's the only concern. But DJ Moore's a really good wide receiver.
So I've just come to the realization that people don't realize in fantasy that I have DeAndre Swift and Chris Carson both on a bye week on week 9.
Oh, right. Okay.
So that's going to be a bit tough for me. So do I take running back next? I don't know. I mean, we've got one pick till I come back around. We've got Kareem Hunt has dropped to me. He's dropped to me. Unless Ben takes him now, which he may do.
Take him quick.
I mean, there's one guy I've just seen but he's again on a bye week 9 that I would like the idea of. It's bye week 9 though. I can't do it. No, I can't do that. No, I'm not going to let you into what I'm thinking, but
well, you are a little bit.
Well, you can if I flick through it very quickly, you can't see like I am doing. I mean, yeah, we'll see what Ben's pick is in the next 3 minutes or so. It'll be sooner than that. Yes, I'm on the page that is it with the players and stuff, but I'm going to be picking soon, so it's time for me to sort of have a little look again. Yeah, this is one thing that people have to remember is the bye weeks as well. You know, week 9 looks like it's going to be a crummy one for me if I've got Carson Swift, and who do I have? Who will I get? Who hopefully is not on there? Or do you look at the waivers by that point? I mean, we've not really talked about the waivers. You say Sam Darnold going.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing is that when you're drafting, you can only really look so far ahead. Because with the NFL, as you saw last year, so many people can pick up injuries, and that's the whole point of the waiver wire. But yeah, I mean, I can see someone like Sam Darnold just not getting drafted at all, and that's the reason why you sort of think to yourself, well, yeah, the wide receiver's great, but if no one's drafting the quarterback who's throwing it to him, then there has to be a bit of a concern there. So
yeah, for me, there's still some number one guys out there. Why?
There are some really good. There's some really good guys out there. I mean, you know, without saying, well, no, with saying who I think. I mean, someone like Brandon Ayuk. You've got, when you think about it, I know that they're a run first team in San Francisco, but you've got Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel. If Ayuk can stay healthy, I mean, he will be a really, really good player to have as your wide, because most teams now you're looking at wide receiver too. He's a decent wide receiver too.
Raheem Mostert has gone, so I'm back on the clock. And who do I go for?
Kareem Hunt. Come on.
I mean, Kareem Hunt is. Yeah, I don't know. I'm one to get the wide receivers back to back, but I don't know.
Go on, go for Kareem Hunt. You know you want to.
We're on the 5th round, right?
Yeah, it's a good. I tell you, like I say, now is the sort of time, if you haven't already got your quarterback, your running backs, that Kareem Hunt becomes a really good price.
Oh, God. I hate this. Usually, this is me in my own head when I'm with my friends, and now I have to do it actually live. And see, I'm looking at wide receiver, but there's a guy there. But he could be so good. Kyler Murray, he's almost like the 3rd running back. And the wide receivers, when you look at the board, I mean, you go all the way down here, there's some good guys here. There's some solid people in that mid-card bit. But I mean, someone's going to take Kyler Murray now just to pee me off. But
the one thing I would quickly say to you is that we got a comment on Twitter when we were advertising the fact we were doing this from Iggy's Fantasy and Betting, and he's actually someone who writes for K Fantasy Sports, the website that I write for, and he did come out and say that remember, a top 3 quarterback is more valuable than people want to give credit for. So you do have to remember, although personally I tend to go quarterback later, sometimes getting that really good quarterback isn't the worst thing in the world to do.
I'm going to buy him. I'm taking Kyler Murray. I made him tilt. You brought me into it. You've got in my head there about that massively. I would never take a quarterback this early. But Murray, with what he can do on his feet, and the fact that they've got Kenyon Drake, James Conner, both can't stay fit, both ain't great runners. That's really why I've taken him there. Because
it's a good pick. I mean, Murray.
Jesus Christ, Tom Brady. What's Tom Brady? He's a Buccaneers fan. Ben is a Bucs fan, so we'll give him that. But what the fuck is Tom Brady doing in the 5th round?
Tom Brady could easily be one of the best quarterbacks in fantasy this year, easily. With that talent that they've got on that offense, he could easily be that good.
But that's for me. I don't think he would have gone till the 7th.
No, I feel like he's maybe the 5th is a little bit early for him, but as you said, he's a Bucs fan, so you know.
So Minshew Maniacs have just taken Leonard Fournette.
Right. So
an interesting one. As my girlfriend calls him, Le Fournette. He likes to think that Leonard Fournette's this French guy that sits at a cafe on the corner with an espresso and a cigarette and a poetry book. And
has she ever seen Leonard Fournette?
Well, I don't think she has ever seen Leonard Fournette. She's now giving me some. My girlfriend Karis will appear at some point because I have pizza on the way. So we are, I'm going to have some snacks along to the ride for this because, you got to have some snacks while you're in the draft, haven't you? Go and defend Tom Brady some more at this pick. I think he would have gone. I easily reckon he could have got him in the 7th there.
I will do, but I've got to make my pick. So.
oh, sorry, it's your pick now. Apologies. Sorry.
So I've got my 3 running backs. I feel like I need to go wide receiver.
I know who you're gonna go. I know you.
Well, you said that last time, and I didn't. So
Nah, I think I know you're gonna take.
So this is someone I feel like I kind of really, there's a part of me that wants to go Robbie Anderson. I really like Robbie Anderson, but again, it's Darnold. For me, I think I'm going to take a bit of a punt on whether he will remain fit, and I'm going to go for Ayuk.
I didn't think that's again not who I thought you were going to take. I think that's worth it.
Yeah,
I think
Jerry Jeudy is the one who I was kind of interested in as well, but he did have a bit of a case of the drops last year, and with Courtland Sutton back as well, I was pretty big on Courtland Sutton before he got injured. I think you're going to end up splitting it a bit, and I don't think that Teddy Bridgewater is going to give them the same amount of receptions as what you would have got with Drew Lock, because Drew Lock was much more of a throw it everywhere kind of guy, whereas for Bridgewater tends to be a little bit more controlled. So
I liked you taking Jerry Jeudy there. Jerry Jeudy was my pick at Kyler Murray. That's what I was going to go for out of them two. I only say that because he's just gone on auto pick to Dicko's All-Stars at the 5.7. The 5.6 was Kenny Golladay going to Andrew. Obviously, being a Giants fan, our co-host Andrew, he's gonna find a Giants player in there somewhere, isn't it?
That's fine, but Daniel Jones is never going to get the ball to him. He's wasting his time. It's like it's never going to happen. So,
speaking of a topic that is a bit outside of fantasy football, but we've only seen. I'm gonna have to double check this. Excuse me, got a case of the burps for this beer. One. There's only one rookie who's gone.
What, Najee Harris?
Najee Harris is the only one who's gone.
Yeah. I mean, that's not.
That is a crazy pick. Aaron Rodgers going to Kingsbury, the Buffalo Bill guy, Byron. He's taking Aaron Rodgers. Your quarterback's gone. However, the Dallas Cowboys is just taking Robert Tonyan.
Yeah.
Tight end there. How do you feel about that?
So I'm going to assume that the reason, well, I don't know, but I'm going to assume that the reason that they've taken him is that he did really well last year. I think he did do really well last year. But okay. Well, I'm going to tell you, he did do really well last year. I think he ended up as the tight end 3 last year. I'm not 100% sure, but I think he did. The only thing I would say about Tonyan is that I feel especially with Randall Cobb and Amari Rodgers both being there in the slot, I feel that they're going to take some away from him. And also he got something crazy like 11 touchdowns. I mean, that's an insane amount for a tight end to get. And you have to feel that that's going to regress a little bit. So, yeah, unfortunately.
This is where you don't know my friends well enough.
No.
They have taken Aaron Rodgers and Robert Tonyan back-to-back because you're a Green Bay fan.
Oh, okay.
That is probably why they've done
that.
I see. To go, he's probably going to take these Green Bay guys, and we're going to take all the Green Bay guys. When we talk about, because there is a bit of home sport, just to catch everyone up, 5.9 Robert Tonyan, then we've gone to the 5.10 Jarvis Landry. It's really sped up, actually. The auto pick, Robbie Anderson, gone 5.11, 5.12 Justin Herbert, 5.13 Damian Harris, 5.14 Dak Prescott, the 6.1 Logan Thomas, 6.2 Melvin Gordon, 6.3 Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts going to the 6th round. What a pick. Sixth for the T. Higgins on auto pick there, and Jalen Hurts at the 6.5. Again, a Philadelphia fan.
All right. It's not an awful pick though at that stage, because once you reach that point, you can see that you're starting to run out of the running quarterbacks, and because of that, you can understand why Jalen Hurts wouldn't be the worst pick in the world there. I do really like Justin Herbert there, though. I think that's a really good
Justin
pick.
Herbert, the 5-12. I mean, Trev's team now is Saquon Barkley, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Chris Godwin, Adam Thielen, Justin Herbert, Kyle Pitts.
Right, so we've got someone who knows what they're doing.
Trev's usually historically a shit draftee. He usually never drafts very well, but
I think that's a pretty good team. The only thing I would say, obviously, you've got Barkley with the injury worry there, and Kyle Pitts, and just purely the fact that he hasn't played yet. But I mean, that's kind of grasping at straws, really, when it comes to Kyle Pitts.
He's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Speaking of rookies, have you watched any of the college football games that we've been assigned to? I watched all the highlights on the bus this morning.
I saw a little bit of oh god, who was it that Spencer Rattler plays for?
Oklahoma.
I saw,
what's the name of the team? It's not Tulsa. It is Tulane, and it was a really good game. Tulane.
Yeah, I saw really, a little bit of it.
There was a lot of first game jitters, it felt like.
Yeah, because the one thing I would say is that there's obviously a lot of hype around Rattler, isn't there, as being like either the top quarterback or the number 2 quarterback to come out the draft next year. And I did see him, and I couldn't help but notice he was overthrowing quite a bit. And you're kind of like thinking, well, if he can't even do it there, then what chance has he got of doing it in the NFL? But I think, like you said, with a lot of these things, I think there probably was a lot of, first game jitters and stuff like that. So I think that was the reason why. But I saw a little bit of that, and then who was it? There was I saw a little bit of Alabama.
Okay, against can't remember who against now.
Because that was afterwards. I saw a bit of Alabama, and I sort of saw the guy. I can't remember who the quarterback is now there at the moment. But yeah, I wasn't, again, another one that I wasn't particularly overly impressed with. But I think that a lot of it has to come down to first game nerves and stuff like that. So
I think so as well. What's even worse about all of this is I completely forgot, but we had fries in the freezer. Well, I could have had pizza and fries. No, I forgot. I completely forgot to tell you.
Curly fries as well.
Oh, I got curly fries as well. See, this is what happens, Adam. You got to get the snacks already, and you forget about some and everything like that.
Yeah.
Alabama's quarterback is Bryce Young.
Yeah. You see, I didn't really think that much of him either, to be honest. But then I do feel like you said, first game nerves and all that sort of thing, it's probably affecting them all.
It definitely looked that way with Oklahoma, I thought. Tulane made some good plays.
Yeah. I haven't really seen anything from them before, I must say. But like I said, I haven't really seen a lot of college football. It's more that's Andrew's department. So, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see who comes out of that and who gets all the hype with that one. Can't remember his name. There was one guy, I can't remember, completely forgotten who it was now, but they seem to be putting up quite a good partnership. But
Chris Olave at Alabama's one of the guys that's looking really good, and I can't remember. There was a running back for Oklahoma who had a punt return. He looked fantastic.
Yeah,
his name's Corin, I think.
All right.
I have to remember the name now. It is under college football. Blake Corum. Oh no, that was from Michigan. Tell a lie. He had a really great punt return, but there was Nick Benito. That was the outside linebacker for Alabama. He was one of the impressed as well, but it was a name that wrote down. Since we've been talking, there's been 6.6 was Mike Williams of the Chargers, Devin Singletary at 6.7. The auto pick has crushed my dreams. Kareem Hunt's gone. He's gone in the 6th round. I was looking at him in like the 4th, to be fair. So to be fair, to get him to that's he's dropped a lot. I could have really taken him at the Kyler Murray spot, but Kyler Murray or Kareem Hunt, I'm happy if I've taken Kyler out of the two there for sure. Andrew, our co-host, is on the clock. Is he going to go for another Giants player? Darius Slayton, maybe?
Who's he got? He's got Russell Wilson, Golladay, and Hopkins. Who are his running
Chubb
backs?
and Jacobs.
Chubb and Jacobs.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got quite a balanced team. He doesn't have a tight end, but I can't imagine he's going to go for one now. So he's probably looking at running back or wide receiver. He might go for one of the rookies. Running back.
You got Devontae Smith, Philadelphia Eagles. Imagine if he does.
I think he'll take Courtland Sutton.
Oh, that's a shout. He likes Courtland Sutton as well.
I think he'll go Courtland Sutton.
Hmm. He won't pick him now. Just to be. He went James Conner.
James Conner, really? Wow. Okay, so I am now on the clock. I have got Eckler and Edwards at running back, Johnson, Ayuk wide receiver, Gaskin as my flex. There's 2 quarterbacks left that I really like, but if I look at the board, I notice that everybody has already got a quarterback on this side of the board, apart from you. So I will wait for a quarterback, and I am going to go Javonte Williams.
Bold,
so I think very quickly you're going to find that Williams is going to take that job from Melvin Gordon. And that it might not happen in the first few weeks, but I think he will be a really good bench spot.
A bit like a Jonathan Taylor situation last year, where technically he was behind Marlon Mack and Nyheim Hines.
Yeah.
Gets drafted, Marlon Mack goes injured. Not going to start Nyheim Hines to play him, but they play a sort of a duo back.
Yeah.
And then Jonathan Taylor by the end of the season was clearly RB1.
Yeah, I feel like that is something that is probably most likely to happen in this situation as well. I can see him taking that on and being the main guy in that. I think Gordon's contract comes up this year. So I feel like there's a reason that they took him as high as they did. And the other thing is, with a quarterback like Teddy Bridgewater, he's a decent quarterback. He's a solid quarterback, but he's not going to come out and be throwing that ball all over the place. So I think the run game, especially with someone like Vic Fangio, who's a bit more defensive minded, I think he's the guy to go for there. So I can see him. And also, I have got Gaskin and Edwards, who, although I feel they're going to do well, have never actually had the majority of the snaps at running back. So I feel like having that depth is not the worst thing in the world to have.
Now I've got arguably a team of seconds, but Gus is going to start. Gaskin.
I think Edwards is going to be the main guy there. Gaskin is going to be the main guy there. Eckler obviously is going to be the main guy in LA. And as I've said, I think Deontay Johnson, Brett, and Ayuk, they're good players that are going to see the ball a lot. So I've kind of I looked at the rules of this league, and it's it is quite heavy on reception. So I kind of feel like, to me, that pick there for Philip Lindsay, I would rather take Williams, who I think is going to get the majority of stuff in the middle of the season, rather than someone like Philip Lindsay, who at Houston, I mean, who knows whoever's left there? It could be anybody's going to end up there, taking that job. And to me, it feels like Williams is a better choice. And in the same way, like with James Conner as well, I kind of feel like with James Conner, he will see the ball, but there's Chase Edmonds there as well. So it's like, to me, I think Gordon is okay, but I think very quickly they will see that Williams is the better guy.
I got it wrong with James Conner. Actually, it's Chase Edmonds who he's competing with, not Kenyon Drake. Kenyon Drake is now at the Raiders. Yeah, I think you're right. Like, Lindsay could easily be RB1 for the whole season, but team's such a mess. And you're right, Melvin Gordon. Is he been number one caliber for a while? Potentially. He's just not really broke. I feel like there's been a lot of hype about Melvin Gordon within fantasy every year. He can be that guy you get in later rounds who gets receptions, who is a good solid running back. But when you've got someone like Javonte Williams who can come behind him now and do well, then you're going to have to look at him. TJ Hawkinson got 6.12. Like I say, I've got the burps with the beers, so sorry about that. So at 6.13 for me, let's have a look at what we got then. Got more abuse in the chat, I can imagine. So I've got Colin Murray, Dalvin Cook, DeAndre Swift, DJ Moore, Chris Carson. Now the educated thing is to go to wide receiver here.
Yeah, I think that would be, yeah.
I think the educated thing is to go to wide receiver here. And
when you look at your team,
quickly look at the. Okay, I'd be happy. I'm happy with what's going on there. So, but who would I take? Oh, I know. I think I know who I'm going to take. I'm going to. Oh, I don't know, actually. Funnily enough, there's someone there that I really am very interested in, and I'm just sort of punting that they will do well, but I'm not too sure. I mean, Odell Beckham Jr. is the obvious choice, but he's a Cleveland Brown for one. I can't do that. By week 13, I've already got DJ Moore. I think I am going to go for. Oh, you know what? He's a Steeler. Juju Smith-Schuster. He's a Steeler. You got to take a Steeler every now and then when you're a Steeler fan. He's rated remarkably low, and yet he's a very good player, a very good wide receiver, and gets the TDs.
Yeah, I think he's not the worst pick in the world, really, when you look at it. I mean, when you look at who's around, he really isn't the worst pick in the world to take. I don't think I wouldn't have him because I've got Deontay Johnson, but he is definitely a quality pick to go for. So I think in that respect, it's definitely worth doing. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of reaching that point now where you're almost like you're just looking for players that you think are going to be, and who should we go for, who not. It's almost like it depends whether you go for boom or bust players. I think the only thing with someone like Juju is that you know what you're getting from him, but he's not going to suddenly fly or anything like that. So, but he'll definitely be worth going for. So,
also as well, the pick I'm at, I've got to be a bit. A lot of players are going to go.
Yeah,
we've always seen with Kareem Hunt. I know we're joking around about Kareem Hunt, but I talked about him in the third, fourth, and he didn't go till the. Can't see where he is now. He didn't go to the sixth, mid-sixth.
Yeah.
There's players on that board that I really like, and I know. There's a player that I really like, but I don't think he's going to get back round to me. And I feel like he's the number one on the team as well. I feel like
What,
he's the
wide
number one player
receiver?
on that team. Sorry?
Wide receiver?
Yeah. 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 I think I might take him, actually. You can't. Devontae Smith is just sitting here, isn't he? He could just be so good. He could be like 1,200 yards, 8 TDs.
He could. The only thing with that is that normally with wide receivers in their first year, it doesn't necessarily happen. Now, I know Justin Jefferson was different last year, and it worked out great for him, and anyone who drafted him, that was brilliant. But you know, he kind of is the exception to the rule. So that's the only thing with Devonta Smith. In the same with Jamar Chase as well. It's the same thing. It's like both these guys probably will be really good and have great careers, but that doesn't mean they're going to be really good and have great careers this year.
So Bob's pointed out to me, like I just said, is I don't think he'll get back round to me. I'm the next pick, so he will get round to me.
Yeah.
What I mean is, I don't think I would pick him at this spot because I feel like now with who I'm thinking about anyway, 3 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a QB, the tight ends are popping off the board. I mean, I just don't know. Again, running backs. Let's have a look at the running backs scenario at the minute. Let's go on to player here. Running back scenario. I mean, you got Trey Sermon, Mark Carter, 2 rookies, but Trey Sermon's going to carry Raheem Mostert. Michael Carter could be the number 1. Ronald Jones, I mean, he's the number 1, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, well, the thing with Jones and Fournette, it's different. It's difficult, isn't it? I mean, Bruce Arians never really has a number 1. It's kind of like a mixture of the two. So that's a bit difficult. Sermon, I think a lot of people feel that Sermon's probably going to end up taking the job past Raheem Mostert by the end of the season. But I mean, whether are
you just saying this so I take him?
Yeah, obviously. I think Michael Carter's good. Michael Carter's a good, could be potentially a really good running back, but the problem is the O-line in New York for the Jets is a little bit hit and miss. It's a bit of a worry whether you'd want to go down that route. And then once you get past them 3, I mean, it really is like, apart from Zach Moss, who might get the number 1 job in Buffalo if he can beat out Devin Singletary. I mean, it really is like the backup that you're taking. So,
and who might get injured? You never know. Mike Davis's value. He wasn't drafted, was he? In most mock drafts, most drafts in fantasy, and then
it's a really difficult. It is a really difficult one because obviously, you know, you do want to have that depth. But
DJ Shark. Oh, that's who I wanted.
Really?
Yeah, he's going to be the number 1 receiver.
Yeah, I mean, again, another really good player, but you know, we all think Trevor Lawrence is going to be amazing, but we don't know how he's definitely going to react. And during preseason, he didn't look great. Now I know that's preseason, so it's not exactly the same, but you know, you do kind of think to yourself, well, hopefully DJ Chark would be great for them, but not necessarily. So I wouldn't be too upset.
No, that's really annoying. I really liked DJ Chark there. He was probably going to be my pick. I don't know where to go with this. You may have twisted my arm into Trey Sermon here.
You know, you shouldn't just listen to me and then take the pick.
No, I know, but we're sort of in that mode now, aren't we? I suppose. Wide receivers, still plenty out there. I mean, Michael Thomas is a joke. Being like he was like the number 1 wide receiver going last year. He was taken in the first round in mock drafts, and now he's not even. He's going into the 7th. I mean, it's just shows what one injury does to be able to decrease the value. It's just crazy. I am thinking running back just because of the sparsity of it. And I think I'm going to go. So we've got 7, 9, 9. I mean, Ronald Jones is the one I'd like, but the bye week's just annoying there. No, you know what? I'm going to take a punt on Devontae Smith. How do you feel about that?
I think Smith is probably going to be the number one guy there. I think that it won't take a lot to become the number one guy. That's the only thing I would say. So I think that he's probably going to do pretty well. I feel like in the situation that he's in, he's got the best chance to succeed when it comes to the rookies. I think like someone like Jamar Chase has got a lot of competition now, so I think that could hinder him a little bit. But yeah, I mean Smith is good, but he's unknown. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of these rookies now coming off board where they are punt picks, and for me, when you look at Devontae Smith, the situation's really very favorable. He's going to be the number one wide receiver. He's the most talented receiver on that roster already. Okay, he's not the most talented quarterback behind him, but you know, if he's capable, you could argue the same thing, you know, with the whole running thing with Tennessee. AJ Brown still goes really high up, you know, in drafts. So it's that split, isn't it? Even though they are going to be a run first team with Jalen Hurts at his feet and Miles Sanders, they've not really got much on the outside Jalen Reagor, and they've got, you know, other, you know, guys, I suppose. But he could really be. I hate the pick, actually. Oh, I'm annoyed at myself now. But DJ Moore, Smith Schuster, I really wanted DJ Shark. That's my problem here.
Yeah.
But Ronald Jones just gone. Tampa Bay 7.3. Laviska Shenault it might have been auto picked, but I don't think it was at 7.4 to Johnny, who is a Jags fan. So, you know, Shenault going quite early. We're back round to Adam for his pick at 7.5. Adam has already picked Austin Eckler, Gus Edwards, Myles Gaskin, Deontay Johnson, Brandon Ayuk, and Javonte Williams. It's probably about time for you to get a QB or a tight end, isn't it, buddy?
So I don't really have any deep desire to get a tight end at the moment. I think there's still quite a few tight ends there that you could have, and that wouldn't be a problem. I did say there was 2 quarterbacks that I like the look of. You're not gonna guess it.
I think I know one of them.
So
I say that for every pick though for you.
Yeah, no, yes, I do that one, but no. So I'm gonna go a little bit left field here because I really feel that he's gonna make a massive difference. I think he's gonna get the job. It could backfire spectacularly, but I really think that.
Oh, that's a good pick.
Trey Lance.
I don't like that pick there.
So the reason that I've picked him there is I feel like the potential of Trey Lance compared to what is left on the others. I feel like when it comes to running backs, I've got my 4 guys and I don't need any running backs now for the rest of the draft, to be honest.
Yeah.
When it comes to wide receiver, I could have gone Odell Beckham, but it's a player who is on a run-first team, so I'm not overly fussed. I've just seen Emmanuel Sanders has gone incredibly early.
That is a Buffalo. Is Byron the Buffalo fan though? So
okay.
After 7.6, we have Michael Pittman, Matt Stafford at 7.7. That's what I thought you were going to take was Matt Stafford.
Yeah, so Matthew Stafford was the other one. He was the one who I quite liked. And then you look at the other wide receivers, and there's some good wide receivers there, but they're not fantastic. But the other thing is that there's also quite a lot further down the line. So there's no need to sort of like jump on that straight away. When it comes to tight end, there are some players there, but I think we can wait a little bit longer for that. So yeah, QB, it's not a certainty with Lance, but I do feel that he's definitely someone worth going for.
It's an interesting player there. It's. I think if he gets in week 3, 4, it could. I think it could be one of them scenarios a little bit like at Miami last year, where Fitzpatrick got to week 5, 6. He was doing really well. He was very successful, and then out of nowhere, Tua was the starter, and it was like, oh, okay, all right, he's going. And Tua, okay, wasn't maybe as successful as people were thinking he was going to be. But Trey Lance has that opportunity to be able to go and do that in San Francisco. I'm very high on that. I'm very, very high on him doing well in San Francisco. We've had, after Emmanuel Sanders, we had 7.9 Ryan Tannehill, 7.10 Rob Gronkowski, 7.11 on auto draft Trevor Lawrence, Zach Moss at 7.12, 7.13 Odell Beckham Jr., and 7.14 Sony Michel, newly of the LA Rams there.
It's very high for Sony Michel, but then he is the backup. So, you know, I mean, he may well... He probably... Well, he might be. He might be. I mean, you've got Darrell Henderson. I kind of get the feeling that Henderson, you know, he's the guy that they know. He's the one that they want there, isn't he? So I think Henderson will probably get first pick. But yeah, at the same time, you can't help but feel that, you know, Michel will see some form of, you know, work there. So I think he'll do well. But the only problem with Sony Michel is that we've seen it in New England already, haven't we? That he can do a bit, but he gets injured quite a bit. He's not necessarily the best. I mean, I think he had one Super Bowl where he absolutely went crazy. But you know, over the course of the season, I don't know if he's going to be able to do it all the way.
Very pick on the turn here. So we've had Sony Michel go, Brandon Cooks go into the same team at 8.1, 8.2 Tyler Boyd, 8.3 Cortland Sutton, 8.4 is the Rams defense on auto pick. That's an interesting one on the auto pick, I suppose. A little bit of review of our team. We'll go for every team, but we'll go for your team first, Adam. So Eckler, Edwards, Gaskin, Austin Eckler, Gus Edwards of Baltimore, Miles Gaskin, of Miami, Deontay Johnson of Pittsburgh, Brandon Ayuk of San Francisco, Javonte Williams of Denver, Trey Lance of San Francisco as well. Pairing up them San Francisco guys. I didn't even realize you'd done that. Me, I have Dalvin Cook, DeAndre Swift, Chris Carson, DJ Moore, Kyler Murray, Juju Smith-Schuster, and Devontae Smith. I mean, they're both two. It's been a very interesting draft. It's weird because looking on the board this time and doing this, how we're doing this, and I've never really done this before with this league or anything like that. It's very interesting about the styles of picks and where people are going and the trends. Like, you know, we saw an auto pick, admittedly a tight end going the first round. It was all running back other than one wide receiver in Stephon Diggs. And when you do mock drafts, stuff like that, it tends to be all sorts of players going in the mock drafts. And it just shows that when you are playing with people who are knowledgeable and stuff like that, leagues can completely change. I mean, is there ever been when you've been drafting, Adam, where you've looked at the draft and gone, Jesus, what is going on here? Like, how come these people are drafting here and everything like that? And does it ever convince you to sort of draft within that route? You know, if loads of tight ends go in the third round, you go, oh, I must take a tight end, or what's your thinking when you see trends like that?
I think you have to sort of go down that route sometimes. I think if you see that there are people that are sort of like, they're looking at it and you see a lot of tight ends go and all of a sudden there's only like one or two left on the board. I mean, you kind of have to almost react to it. You can't just sort of be like, no, this is my plan and that's the end of it, because it just doesn't work like that. So I do feel like you need to do that a little bit, but at the same time, I feel like if you can't, so it's really weird, you can't deviate too much, because if you start deviating too much, then you're going to end up, you know, completely losing your head as to what it is that you want and where you want to go. So I think it's important that you do kind of like have your sort of like have a strategy to a certain degree, but at the same time you need to be kind of almost like fluid enough to make changes and decide that actually, do you know what, I need to get someone in that position now, because if I don't, everyone's gonna have taken them all and then I'm gonna end up with nothing. So
Yeah, exactly. Jamal Williams, former Green Bay Packer, going to the 8.6 at Detroit now, though. Mike Gesicki going the 8.7, the 8.8, the Steelers defense on auto pick, admittedly. Andrew is on the clock. I feel like I know who he's going to pick, which it wasn't that guy. I thought Marquise Brown's 8.8 and 8.9. We're back on time's pick. I thought he was going to go tight end there, actually, for Andrew, but King Langan went Marquise Brown. We're back onto you now, Adam. As we've said before, you have your 3 running backs, your 2 wide receivers, your backup running back, and your QB. What are you looking at here?
So I think now you sort of start looking at, when you look at the wide receivers, like I said, none of them are really the main guy apart from the rookies, to be honest. So there's not a lot when it comes to running back. As I've said before, there's nothing there that is particularly interesting to me now. QB, there are some ones that I would like to bring another QB in because of the Trey Lance pick and him not starting straight away. But I do feel like the way forward now is actually to sort out my tight end position. And there's one guy who is at a team where I think they've only got 4 wide receivers on the roster. And to me, I think Gerald Everett would be a great pick there, and one who I feel is going to get quite a lot of receptions from Russell Wilson this year.
So they've got 4 wide receivers on. They've got the Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf. I mean, outside of
that, I think one of them is a rookie, and that they took quite late in the draft, and then I can't remember who the other one is at the moment. But yeah, it's not anyone. Let me have a look. I don't think it's anyone particularly great who's gonna take much away. So I think you're probably going to be looking. I think they've actually got more running backs on the roster than they have wide receivers.
I think he's a very underrated tight end, Gerald Everett. I am now on the clock, so I've got to defer back to me. Gerald Everett going the 8-10 to Adam there. Washington football team defense going to 8-11 to the Minshew Maniacs. The Bucks 8-12. So a Buccaneers fan has taken Mike Evans, Tom Brady, Ronald Jones, and the Buccaneers defense.
In fairness, they're going to do well this year.
Yeah, they are going to do well. I'm quite happy because I'm going to take my tight end, and I know exactly who I want. I would like Noah Fant.
Yeah.
That's exactly who I wanted. I thought you were going to take, but the way you were talking, I thought that was going to be Noah Fant you were taking.
So my only thing with Noah Fant is that he's been in the league now for a few years, and he's never really popped. He's never really sort of made a massive difference when it comes to tight end. I think I'm not saying that Everett is going to be amazing, but I feel like he's in a position where he actually can be a lot better now, because I feel like Tyler Higbee, and actually the Tyler Higbee pick that was made back in the 6th round, I think that was a really good pick to have. Is that me again, is it?
That's me. No.
You again.
Our man Ben took Younghoe Koo, kicker for Atlanta Falcons at the 8-14, and the Ravens defense at 9.1 there. I'm back on the board. I need to check out who I've got. The beer is starting to hit me now, so I'm now not really remembering what I've been doing and nor who is there. Right, let's have a look. So we have Kyler Murray, Dalvin Cook, DeAndre Swift, DJ Moore, and Chris Carson. I like that. I'm going to go for, because he's still here, I'm going to take a risk on Trey Sermon.
Yeah.
I think that's I need that over running back, and you convinced me earlier. I also think you're right. I think Raheem Mostert is seen as the number one there. I actually think it could be anyone's game to take. I mean, Tevin Coleman had his weeks there when he was there. I mean, Trey Sermon's better than Tevin Coleman. I quite like that. It was either him or Michael Carter for me. I didn't say because I feel like Michael Carter will go quite soon. I think 49ers for me, when we talked about our predictions video, I'm really quite high on them. I think if everything stays fit and healthy like they weren't last year, they are easily up there to go for the NFC Championship. This defense is so good, and their offense, okay, maybe under Jimmy G or maybe under I've completely forgotten his name now. You're just drafting Trey Lance.
Trey Lance.
But this team could be a real force. I mean, they are really good. I feel like in NFL and in sport in general, we have a bit of a short-term memory loss about things. And we just think about last year and think that they're no good. Whereas the year before, they were a Super Bowl team and they were a really good team. And they pretty much nearly won the Super Bowl up until the fourth quarter. And we all forget that. They were near Super Bowl winners. Deebo Samuel going at 9.3 is crazy for me. He's just gone after Trey Sermon here. That is a really good pick at that position.
Yeah, I think the only thing with Deebo Samuel has been the injuries, hasn't it? It's kind of the only thing that would put you off of him. But yeah, I mean, he's been a great pick there. I think to get him so late is someone that brilliant pick. So that's a good one to go for.
So we're not going to talk about some of the guys that are in this league, some of the shithousery that happens, and we're all very loyal NFL fans. We always go to the NFL London games. We have a great time doing that, have a lot of beers, tend to get quite drunk. I tend to misbehave or act stupid, which tends to be a bit of a running theme on everything. Might even happen tonight. You never know. Keep watching. But we have great time doing it, and we're really passionate NFL fans. And the NFL fantasy stuff has really helped us with our knowledge. A lot of the guys who we've been on the fringe of liking the NFL, we've now got more integrated into watching the NFL is due to fantasy football. And they love it. And this is a really great league of friends. But I know there's a lot of people out there who don't have loads of friends who watch the NFL. So make sure you look on all the things like NFL UK, the chat sites on Facebook, the groups for on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and everything like that to try and join in the fantasy league. People are always looking for people to fill in the league, whether it be a regular redraft league in this case, or a dynasty league or stuff like that. But also you can play Empire Fantasy Football that we've advertised this video sponsored by, which is more of a different one. You compete against people worldwide. You can compete against your friends as well, but you pick a team with a salary cap. You can also wager on the players as well in the games, which you can earn money to then buy and sell players within the game, and their monetary value is the same as how they are playing. Well, reflects how they are playing on the pitch whilst they're playing. EmpireFF.com, really great guys, really great site, great fun new way to play fantasy football. You should definitely go and get involved. But Adam, you've told me before that you don't know many people in your area who do like NFL and are that into it. And do you find it sometimes hard in fact, you're on your pick, so I'm really interrupting you. Your pick, really. We'll talk about your pick. We'll talk about your pick first, and then more about you being into fantasy football and how you broke into it and everything like that. AJ Dillon has just gone. You've just gone for Ja'Marr Chase, 9.5. Tell us why.
I just feel like Ja'Marr Chase he has struggled in preseason, but I do feel like there is the potential there for him to really rekindle that relationship with Joe Burrow. And I think because of that, you'll probably find that he will definitely eventually he will do quite well. I wouldn't have wanted to take him any higher. I think going any higher for him would have been a mistake. But when you're in the 9th round, I feel like he's definitely someone that would be worth picking up.
So whilst I go and get myself another beer, why don't you tell our viewers that are watching, which is maybe not many. All right, it's not really many people at all, but it's okay. I know it's a long video. It's going to be on social media for you to watch. It is a bit of a different one for us. We are sort of testing and trying it. We're just trying to have a laugh, and everyone loves fantasy football. That's why we're doing it. But it is true that you don't know that many people that are into NFL around your area, right?
Yeah, I mean, when I first started watching NFL, I mean, I started watching it ages ago when I was a lot younger. But
I'm going to interrupt you. I'm going to go get another beer, but please tell us how you
carry
and everything like that, because I find the story far too boring. So I'm back in a second, my man. You tell everyone.
But yeah, I started watching it when I was a lot younger, and I've got a dad who has a desire to tell me that it's a bunch of idiots just running around and not really doing anything, as he's a bit of a typical English football guy. So I didn't have anyone who was really into it, and I just kind of got into it. And really, I just kind of got into it more through fantasy football, because I started listening to the fantasy footballers and doing all of that. And I just kind of found that that was the way to kind of get yourself involved in it and spend more time watching NFL as well. And now that I'm lucky enough that I can afford to have like Sky Sports and watch the games on Sunday. And so obviously that's great. But yeah, I kind of got into it through fantasy football. I predominantly do money leagues, is what a lot of mine is. So this, like I said earlier, this is kind of the first time that I've ever really been in a league where I haven't had, it's not it's not about the money sort of thing. So it'd be interesting to see how it goes and what it's like. It's a redraft, so it's something different for me, definitely. But yeah, it's also the fact that I'd be able to get to know the guys. I'm going to the London games. I'll be seeing you all up there and stuff like that. Any of you that are coming. So yeah, I mean it'll be good because of that. So that's it's all good stuff. But that was kind of how I got into it. Anyway, let's see what's happening. Andrew going for a New England Patriot tight end. An interesting choice. The wrong choice. He should have gone for Hunter Henry, but bless him, he's not the sharpest tool in the box. So who's coming up next? What are we going to have? Let's have a look. Okay, so we've had Michael Gallup go 9.8, good pick. Will Fuller at a 9.9. Another two kickers, very early to take kickers. Quite a surprising thing to do, but there you go. One of them was an auto pick though. So. Naheem Hines, Tony Pollard. We are flying through now. Mac Jones, good pick there at 10-2. Darnell Mooney, I think he'll do really well. He'd be very good in Chicago, especially if Justin Fields gets going. I think he'd be really good. What else have we got? Antonio Brown to 10-6. Curtis Samuel, really like Curtis Samuel. He's had a few injury problems though. He struggled with the groin injury, so that's going to be a bit tough to see whether he overcomes that. And back to Andrew. Who's he going to go for at the 10-9? He's gone for Michael Carter. Could be a good pick. The only problem with Michael Carter is that offensive line is not great in New England at the Jets, so that could be a problem. Now, looking at what I've got left, tight ends, not great, but no one that I particularly want to draft now. Wide receiver, running back again, another lot. No one that I'm particularly that interested in, to be honest. Quarterback, I do need to take another quarterback, but I think everyone's taken one now, so there's not really any need to go for it. So I'm going to go wide receiver. Elijah Moore, has been some really good reports from him in camp. Jalen Waddle looked great. Michael Thomas is still there. So I'm going to go for...
It's your pick.
It is my pick.
It's your pick. Wow, that's interesting. Antonio Brown. Where are you going for?
So I've just said there's no tight ends that I desperately want now. No running backs. Quarterback, I can wait on. Kicker and defense don't really matter. So wide receiver, I'm going to go, although I've come out and said before that the rookies tend not to hit straight away, there is one guy who has built up a bit of a rapport with Zach Wilson So I'm going to go for Elijah Moore.
Interesting.
I'm just not really that keen on the. It's like now that you reach this point, I feel like you're taking punts now.
Yeah.
There just isn't anyone really there, and so because of that, I feel like taking it on a rookie like Elijah Moore isn't the worst idea.
Well, if he's built a good repertoire of Zach Wilson in the off season, then it's a perfectly reasonable pick. What have I missed whilst I've been away? We've had Justin Tucker go on auto pick, Michael Gallup, Will Fuller, Harrison Butker. The kickers going very early in this league.
That's what I said.
Yeah, very strange. Mac Jones going to Shanghai United, being a Patriots fan. Darnell Mooney by Trev Manning. That is a great pick. I really like that. There's a YouTuber that I really like. Go check him out. Bengal. He's on YouTube. He does like Madden rebuilds, plays Madden games well. If you're into gaming and Madden stuff, I love his channel. I think it's brilliant. He's a way more successful podcaster than we are, admittedly, but he loves Darnell Mooney. He calls him Money with 2 O's. Friend of the podcast. Bear the knowledge. God, completely forgot his name now. He was on for the Bears. What's his name?
Who?
The guy from who did the Bears podcast with us in the future of the franchise. Austin Fuges. That's the one. Completely forgot his name for a second. He's good friends with Darnell Mooney. I found that's a great pick. So Corey Davis going 49ers defense. Antonio Brown. Ugh. My first NFL jersey I ever bought was a Steelers Antonio Brown jersey, and I've had to retire. It's a white one. So I don't wear that one anymore. Dolphins going defense, Curtis Samuel, Michael Carter, Elijah Moore, New York Jets going back to back. Latavius Murray going late on here as well. And then my pick's going to be only one pick away. Any picks there that you think are a complete mistake? Because all three of them kickers is a complete mistake.
Yeah, the kickers are really weird. They're very odd.
Not 3-4, sorry.
To go that early, I must say. I'm also like, I mean, because
a few are getting onto auto pick now, I think.
Because the defenses have gone, there's been some defenses go early. I can kind of understand why people have gone for it. I really like the Mac Jones pick. I think that's a really good pick. I think he's going to do okay in New England. So to pick up is that his second quarter? Yeah, that's his second quarterback.
That will be a second quarterback behind Lamar Jackson. I'm on the top. Michael Thomas going in the 10th round, like we joked about earlier. Jesus, that's crazy, isn't it?
It's a good pick though, because although he's not going to be able to do anything at the beginning, he's going to be, he will be there at some point. So it's a decent pick.
Where do I go here? So I've got my starting lineup outside of kicker and defense. I've got a running back and a wide receiver in there, 2 rookies as well. I mean, running back, you could go for who you got left on the board here. Nothing alike. Wide receiver, a couple I like. There's definitely a couple I like. Then you look at tight end again, a couple I like. I think I could wait though. I'm going to go for, because his name popped up. Oh God. Which one? There's 2 I have in mind. And I'm going to take the other one because he's not in my division and it is a punt. I'm going to take Justin Fields.
Okay.
That purely, I've just gone 2 rookies in a row. 3 rookies in the last 4 picks. I've gone Fields there. The other one I was thinking was Joe Burrow. He's in division with Steelers. So I'm like, in my mind, I go, I can't do it in a way. I do this whole Steelers thing. Fields, for me, it's about the feet. It's about if he can run. I've said it in the predictions video. Again, go and check out on the Franchise Tag podcast on YouTube for our predictions videos that are going to be coming out very soon for the AFC and the NFC. I think Justin Fields will start from week 3. And if he can do what he did at college on his feet, I mean, I've got 2 capable quarterbacks that could get over, thousands of yards of throwing, but also probably 300 yards plus rushing, maybe even 500 yards plus rushing, and maybe 5 touchdowns each more, maybe, if they're doing that. I mean, what do you think of my pick there?
I think Fields is a good pick. I don't know if he'll necessarily take the job that early, but I do think that he's a good pick and that he's someone who will probably he will make a difference. He's a good, you can click because you can clearly see that he's got the legs to run when in the NFL, and I think that because of that, he's gonna have that advantage. It's the way that the NFL is going as well, and I think that he definitely is someone who you want to pick as your second QB because you've got Kyler Murray, so it's a decent pick in that respect. I would say it's maybe a little bit high, but I mean, it's the guy that you want. So I think now it kind of reaches a point where, what else is there when it comes to QB? You've got Burrow, who's got injury, coming back from an injury. Tua had the really bad injury. You could go for something, like Fitzpatrick or Big Ben, who can put up big numbers. That would be people who would be worth maybe taking that punt on. But yeah, I mean, I think you'll probably find that Fields would be really good. I just don't know how much you're going to play him because you've already got Kyler Murray.
Is now on the clock.
So I'm now on the clock, and the picks after me were Jalen Waddle going at 10-14 and Jared Cook, Chargers tight end now, obviously New Orleans guy for such a long time. And I'm looking at it, and I'm going to go wide receiver. And I think let's have a look at the bye weeks just in case. So I've got 14, 7, and 13. So someone's just popped out to me that didn't pop out to me before. And there's a guy in there who Matthew Betts absolutely loved, Russell Gage at Atlanta. He absolutely loved him, didn't he? He was really like, he's going to be a great pick somewhere. I am between Mecole Hardman and I think I'm going to take Henry Ruggs. I like Henry Ruggs there. I think he's the wide receiver one. He's the wide receiver one there. Outside of Darren Waller, I know, but you can his tight end. I think Henry Ruggs is WR1 there, and he's got that Tyreek Hill burner thing. I think there's games where he could go 100+ yards for a touchdown, and all right, there's going to be games I think that he's a little bit quiet maybe, but I don't mind that there. I'm quite happy with that pick there.
Yeah, I mean, he's a really good wide receiver. I was just a bit surprised considering you were going on about Gage and then Hardman and then went to him very quickly.
I'm not big on the Gage thing. I can get where Matthew Betts was coming from, but I'm not sure when you've got that caliber like Henry Ruggs, who is the number one wide receiver on that team outside of Darren Waller, like I said, being a tight end. If you want to call him a WR1, you can do, but I think Ruggs is a burner. He absolutely went mental on some teams last year, and I know that the Dallas Cowboys tinge, our Raiders fan in this, would have probably taken him this round. So half of me was sort of want to twist the knife in a little bit to take a player of his. It's going to be back to your pick very soon. As I said, we've got we're on the 11th round now. We've got four rounds after this 11th round to come. I know it's been a long video. Thank you for anybody who has stuck with us. It has been long, I admit. Let's have a check on the comments just in case we've got anything. No, it's just everyone. It's just the guys in the league being dicks as per usual. Baker Mayfield just going at the 11-13 there. Good pick in the 11th round.
Oh.
No? Is that what
no, I was looking at Marquez Callaway.
So Marquez Callaway going to Minshew Maniacs, Johnny.
Yeah.
Well, why did you like him so much?
I like Callaway because there isn't anyone else there until Michael Thomas is back, basically. That is like there isn't anyone. Yeah. So he was definitely the one that I quite liked the look of. QB I can carry on. It's really now I think it's just about boosting up your wide receivers. I mean, there's there's quite a few that are okay, but they're not fantastic. It's a bit of a difficult one, really. There's not really. This is the problem with when you're in a 14-team league. They start to
it gets very thin very quickly.
Thin right at the end. So I think.
If I'm you, I take Cole Hardman here personally.
See, now the thing with Hardman is that he's a good player, but he tends to disappear a lot, and that's the thing that always puts me off of Hardman. But I think the fact that Sammy Watkins is no longer there, you do feel that maybe he's going to get a bit more targets there, but I don't know if he's going to get so much. I mean, the other one is Devontae Parker. I think I'm going to go Hardman. I think that he's on the team that scores a lot of points, so I think he'll be worth having. But I do feel like he's going to be one of them players that never ever sees my roster.
I liked Hardman instead of Ruggs. He was the one that I suddenly he just like really shone out. I was like, oh right, Mecole Hardman's here. Like he's number 2 wide receiver on the Chiefs. Like he could be really, really great. But
yeah,
again,
he could.
Like you said, I think he does have these like he sort of shines in weird spots.
Yeah,
like week 14, suddenly he'll have 3 touchdowns, and you're like, where have you been all year? You're like, or he'll light up at the start and slow down. Matt Ryan going to Andrew at 11.6. Joe Burrow going on auto pick to Dicko's All Stars. Greg Zuerlein going at the 11.8. Half of me feels like that was an auto pick. Half of me feels like it wasn't. I'm not really sure. I feel like Byron has made. Maybe we should ask him. Just let's. I'll ask him, see if that was. Asking him now. He's watching this right now. So, was that an auto pick, or did you actually pick Greg Zuerlein with the 11.8 pick? Because if you did, that is stupid.
Well, I mean, maybe he likes Greg the leg. He just wants that.
Tinch taking the nibble of Russell Gage, bless him, and taking why Russell Gage there. Oh, good for you, mate. Bless him. He's gonna get so aggy about that. It's like, no, I picked him, so I wanted to pick him. Okay, mate. All right, of course you did. Devontae Parker going at 11.10. Tua Tagovailoa going on auto pick at 11.11. 11.12. Carson Wentz going to the Colts. Trev is a Colts fan. What is Trev's team? This is Trev's best ever draft.
I think he's picked a really good team. This is
best draft he's ever had.
Right. It's all that learning. It's all them years of practice.
As I say, he's usually a shit drafter, but he's done very well here. David Johnson of Houston going 11-13. Sterling Shepard going 11-14. Terrace Marshall at 12-1. That's so annoying. I thought he might swing back round. I quite like the idea of Terrace Marshall on the team.
I do. The only thing with Terrace Marshall is I feel like he's going to be the number 3 in that team. I don't know if he's going to get much opportunity. And again, it's the Sam Darnold thing again. So
could be a bit slotty there though. If he's a little slotty devil there in the
true.
And then on the short routes, you never know. Austin Hooper going at 12.2. It does get so thin here. I mean, let's just have a look at the players that are out there now. I mean, we've got into the 12th round here. I mean, the top rated player to go next is Amon-Ra St. Brown at Detroit. So, that sort of tells. In fact, he's just gone, I believe. Okay, so Fallis Cowboy says wrong about Russell Gage. He just really knows his football, and he knows that Russell Gage is going to do well if he really believes that.
Russell Gage will do well. Russell Gage is a decent player, but I
know he'll do well, but I know.
I just he's not. I wouldn't be picking him.
Yeah. As you can see from the all, Cole Beasley, I mean, Tevin Coleman's up there, James White's there still, Cole Kmet, Fitzpatrick at Cousins, Zach Ertz, Big Ben. It gets really thin. It gets really thin very quickly.
It does.
Yeah.
Can I just say I'm a little bit surprised that no one has taken a punt on Jameis Winston as their second
Why?
quarterback.
Why are you
Because
surprised by that?
when you remember when he was in Tampa, he was like the quarterback 3 or quarterback 2 that year. I mean, he was absolutely throwing the ball all over the place, and that was despite all of them interceptions. So now I know that with New Orleans, there's not as much talent there at the moment, but you got to remember this is Tampa Bay before Brady turned up with all the decent players. So Tampa were not a great side either. So I am really surprised that someone hasn't taken a punt on him.
We did have Chris Godwin and Mike Evans and OJ Howard, though.
Yeah, well, yeah, he had a few, but the only thing I would say is that I just feel like he's going to throw the ball, isn't he? We all know how Winston plays.
Yeah.
Now, maybe Sean Payton might have been able to sort of rein him in a little bit, and he might not be quite so much if he wants to keep it like a starting job. But I do feel like, even like as your number 2 quarterback, I feel like, I'm a little surprised someone hasn't gone for him yet.
I mean, as most teams got 2 quarterbacks now, I mean, Dak Prescott. I mean, Rules Deep's only got Dak Prescott. Shank United's gone Lamar Jackson and Mac Jones. Carson Wentz and Justin Herbert at Trev Manning. Dak Street Boys has got Trevor Lawrence and Tua Tagovailoa. Justice League of Harambe has Jalen Hurts, and that's it. Ben Roethlisberger's just gone to Tinch, and he's got Ryan Tannehill as well. Byron has got Aaron Rodgers, and that's it at the minute. Dicko's All-Stars on the auto draft has got Matt Stafford and Joe Burrow, Matt Ryan, Andrew, and Russell Wilson. Yourself has Trey Lance is the only guy you've got, mate. Josh Allen is the only one at Minshew Maniacs. Pirate Bay. Ben has got Baker Mayfield and Tom Brady. I've got Kyler and Justin Fields, and then Ben Hawks has got Mahomes. And that's it. I mean, are you going to take a quarterback here? Bill's defense just going, by the way.
So, looking at it, to me, I feel like I even need to go. Let's have a look at my.
Yeah. I mean, you've not got a number 1 quarterback here, mate.
That's all right. You don't. I've got Trey Lance. He's going to be my number 1 quarterback.
When though? When?
So, what I'm going to do is I am going to go for tight end depth just because I know I've got Gerald Everett, but obviously I'm going to get myself another one. I feel like the guy who to go for, I feel like Zach Ertz now is kind of not doing it. He's back in at Philadelphia, but it's not really doing a lot. So I think that the guy to go for is Dallas Goedert. At this stage, I think he's going to be pretty decent.
I think now that Zach Ertz is brought back in, apparently.
Yeah,
I mean, it's weird how it just turns, isn't it? It was like, I only want to be traded all off season. Then
yeah,
like, actually,
I feel like that Goddard is going to be the main guy now there, and that when you actually look at it, yeah, they've got Devontae Smith, but they haven't really got anything else. And Jalen Hurts is going to have to throw that ball to someone. So,
oh yeah, exactly. And I have Devontae Smith, so I'll be very happy if I get all them receptions and yards and TDs. I'm quite happy with how my team shaped up. I mean, DeAndre Swift, I do feel like it was a little bit of a mistake. I'm not sure whether I loved it that much, but look what they had left. That's the problem is what did I have left? Outside of that, I then took Chris Carson, which was the one that I was toying with anyway. And you got Henderson, Gaskin, Davis, Edmonds. For me, they were nothing that I was attracted to. DJ Moore, I'm happy with. Kyler Murray, very happy with. Smith Schuster, happy. Smith, Van Sermon, Fields, Ruggs. I mean, I'm very happy with how I'm doing so far. Outside of that Swift Carson bit, as I said to you at the start, when you said where do I like to pick, I like to pick in like that 4-3 spot or like that in this sort of league 11-12 spot. I like the turn. I don't really like being slap bang in the middle, and because I quite like being able to get my picks quickly to go for it and then it will drop off and then like reconfigure myself a little bit. Whereas I find the middle spot, it just sort of it feels like it drags either way. It feels like there's so many players, but so many but so few at the same time go, and when you pick, it's more important because there's another big drop off. Whereas where it would be in that end pick, you get a massive drop off of players, and you sort of get the start of the next good bit in a way.
Yeah.
Like usually when we got back here, like I've taken DeAndre Swift, but really, okay, I took Chris Carson because I want running back depth. That's what I wanted. But I could have taken CeeDee Lamb, DeAndre Hopkins, Keenan Allen, Justin Jefferson, AJ Brown, Chris Godwin. They all went in that round of the round that I picked Chris Carson. It gets so hard when you get down to the 14 spot here, and also with the amount of teams and the how long it goes for, because the sparsity of it. And believe me, if you are doing these fantasy leagues and stuff like that, do start small, because it is better to get like because you get the big points and you get the great teams. But grow as your fantasy knowledge grows, and as your NFL knowledge grows in general, get into bigger leagues, because then it becomes more of a challenge and you get to know more and you get to sort of see these players that you maybe wouldn't be looking at. Russell Gage, we're joking around about it, but it's a great example. He's a wide receiver to Atlanta Falcons. Outside of Atlanta Falcons fans watching Atlanta and the people who want to watch Kyle Pitts, admittedly, no one's going to be looking at Russell Gage really as a guy that you want to focus on. But when you draft him, like Tinch has done, you're going to then watch them Atlanta games and be more interested in what's going on with their wide receiver too, even though that really has no relevance to you if you're not a Falcons fan or anything like that. And that's what's great about fantasy, is you start to watch players and watch teams that you probably would never watch or don't want to watch. And that's what's so much fun about it.
I think the other thing is and it's a little bit different for us over here, because obviously we don't have a team over here. It's like it's very much like you've taken, like you've decided to be a fan of Pittsburgh, and I'm Green Bay and all that sort of thing. So you don't necessarily have a specific team. But I feel like the one good thing is, and I've done this, is like I've been, especially if you can go to the London games, if you're lucky enough to get tickets to go to the London games, and I've been in a league where I've got a player playing at the London games, and you do support them and you do sort of take more notice because you get to know these players. And I think that's something that it's kind of like fantasy is almost a gateway for a lot of people to go into the NFL and actually, enjoy doing it and being part of it, and having every Sunday when you've got the games and stuff like that. So I think that's definitely something that's, a lot of people, that's the way they get their way through.
Andrew's big thing was his backup tight end. He would never have one. He'd always take the tight end that was playing on the day.
Mm.
He always used to do that because it used to get you more engrossed and more involved. Back to my pick. Defenses are dropping like flies. So I like the idea of it, but I'm not going to do it because I'm not that sort of guy. I need the backup tight end, but do I want any of them? I'm going to go for, because I've had him in a load of mocks and I really, really like him. It's Gabriel Davis. I think he's got a really high ceiling in Buffalo. And I know he's behind Stephon Diggs. I know he's behind Cole Beasley. But he got through a few of them touchdowns last year that were out of nowhere sort of zone. And I really like him. And Josh Allen throws the ball all over the place when he's not running with his own 2 feet. I really like Gabriel Davis. I've had him a lot in mocks. And I'm really happy to have him here.
I think Davis is a really good player. You never know with Cole Beasley whether he's actually going to play as well. That's another thing. It's not going to,
especially because of the
because of COVID and stuff. So you never know when it comes to Cole Beasley. The only downside to Davis this year is obviously they've brought in Sanders. I mean, that's a shame, because it kind of like
he's a big body guy. Jameis Winston just going, by the way.
Yeah. Someone fall for it.
No,
but yeah, I mean, sorry,
he's a big body receiver, though. I don't understand why.
He is a big body receiver. I think he's definitely he's going to do well, and I think the problem with Davis is it's just going to be purely whether he gets the looks, enough receptions. That's going to be the problem for Davis. But he's young and he's a good player, and if they put him out there, then I think he'd do pretty well.
So James Winston's just gone then. JD McKissick. I feel like I know. I feel like backup tight end's what I want, but I'm quite happy with what's there. So I'm gonna take a punt on Chiefs defense. Just because I really like the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl, and I think their defense is actually really underrated. And
So
actually,
you don't want the Steelers to win the Super Bowl, then? No, you want the Chiefs to win.
Well, no, I want the Steelers to win the Super Bowl. Of course I do, but I think the Chiefs will win it. And I mean, there's some good defenses still on here. I admit, Browns, Patriots could both be really good this year. But like you were saying about, you have to be flexible within drafting. Lots of good defenses gone. Now, I will note that I did read prior to the 2020 season that top 5 defenses every year in fantasy football in a 5-yard rushes report that they did, which shout out to Murph and Stocks over at 5-Yard Rush, really great podcast. That no top defense is ever in the top 5 after the year after. So the defense actually change every year. And a lot of people do subscribe to the theory of don't draft a defense because a top 5 defense will be out there, but you have to wait like week 4, week 5, and then it'll become really apparent. I subscribe to that. I did try that last year with, I think, tight end, and I think defense as well, where I tried to stream it, as they call it. Not stream it. Yeah, it's stream it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where you just sort of pick one every week and just sort of go with it.
Yeah.
I'm a bit of a devil for, I want a full team. I want a structured team. I quite like the structure of it and having everyone there and having my guys. And now I'm okay with trading. I'm okay with waiver wires and everything like that and dropping people and whatnot. But I do quite like having like sort of security there for it. It's creeping on to your pick. I mean, JD McKissick is a 13 pick. I mean, 13.1. Is he going to see any carries really? And like I said, it's just getting so barren out here now. I mean, it's what are you sort of looking at with your pick? It's 2 picks away.
So I've got to bring in a quarterback who's actually going to play. So it might be an idea. So I've got to bring in a quarterback. There's Kirk Cousins, although who knows whether he'll play or whether he'll be in like a glass box or God knows what. There's Derek Carr. There's Sam Darnold, Zach Wilson, Teddy Bridgewater. I would say Daniel
take Sam Darnold. After the things you've been saying about him, you cannot take Sam Darnold.
Well, you see, I like Sam Darnold. But like I said before, you just don't know how it's going to go with Sam Darnold, which is the problem. Really, the guy that I would, well, I'm 1 pick away now, but I feel like the guy that would be a good one to pick would be Derek Carr, just purely because I think he's a solid quarterback. He's not going to do anything amazing, but I think for the first few weeks, and then I'm kind of gambling on Trey Lance coming through and taking that job, sort of thing. Other than that, I mean, there's not a lot there. Could take Jared Goff.
Could take Jimmy G, to be fair.
I could, yeah, that's true. Actually, I could take Jimmy G. But Teddy Bridgewater is another one who's, he's going to be solid. He's going to put up numbers. He did put up numbers. I don't know quite where he came last year, but just as someone who will, be solid and be okay. So he was a QB 19 last year. So he's not the worst one in the world to have, just purely to just as a pick in order to fill the position before Trey Lance comes through and destroys you all. So,
I think you mean Justin Fields to do that.
Right, so it's my pick. I am going to go for Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah, I think that's a good pick there, personally. I subscribe to that Teddy Bridgewater gets a bad rep. I really don't think he's a bad quarterback at all. Considering the injuries he's had, like it's phenomenal how he's come back. Like, and outside of Alex Smith, who's obviously like the bionic man of the whole injury scenario of coming back and everything like that, like absolutely deserved comeback player of the year last year with what he did and the achievements he had. But with Teddy Bridgewater, he also went through very, very severe injuries, and to get back to where he's at, and I definitely think in this league sometimes stability is all you need. You don't always need pop and wow factors for teams. Stability is sometimes okay. Cleveland is one of them where I think Baker Mayfield is just stable and gets them by, and you need that sometimes to allow to know what your game plan is, to allow the other players to shine and to do what they do. And Bridgewater is one of them guys that is just stable, and he throws a good ball. He's a good game manager. Okay, he's not like athletic and everything like that, but he's got two running backs behind him that are perfectly good enough. He's got one of the best wide receiving cores in the NFL. I think people forget about that with KJ Hamler, Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton. It's a great wide receiving core, and to Noah Fant as well. To that matter, Noah Fant, my player now. To that matter, he's a great quarterback. You got Malcolm Brown just going there at 14.6, and Jacoby Myers, at the 13.7.
That's a good pick. Jacoby Myers is a good wide receiver. The only problem that he's got,
he's
obviously,
on auto pick, admittedly, but
but I think his problem is that you have got players in there like Kendrick Bourne that have turned up, and you just sort of think who's gonna become the main guy there. But Jacoby Myers is one who showed last year under Cam Newton that actually he has the ability. And with Mac Jones, I think you're going to see a lot more throwing of the ball than what you would have done with Cam there. So I think because of that, he's not the worst pick in the world to have right at the very end. So
speaking of Cam Newton, how do you feel about the scenario of what's going on with him at the minute? He's been cut by New England. New England have definitely gone the way of Mac Jones. In a way, it felt like it was, oh, wow, that's surprising. Cam Newton's been cut by the Patriots. I thought he'd be the starter. And then you go, well, Mac Jones was the first round pick and the 15th pick. Wasn't it sort of writing on the wall when they picked him?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like with Newton, it was only going to be that he was going to be there this year. I think if Newton had played well and done everything right, then I think it would have been longer before Mac Jones had turned up. But at the same time, you kind of feel like if you're going to pick a quarterback in the first round, then he's going to start relatively soon. It would have been surprising had he not played at all this year, and then it would have been very surprising had he not played next year, because that's what you do with most first round quarterbacks. Some of them, not all of them, you don't. Some of them sit out. I mean, people, Mahomes sat out, but with a lot of them, if you're going to put that much draft capital into it, then you are going to play them. So it's not really a surprise. I just think it all kind of fell apart with Cam Newton at the Patriots because, Belichick is a coach where he wants to know, he knows everything. He's involved in everything. And they found out that Cam Newton had basically broken the COVID rules that they had. And he wants a reliable quarterback. He doesn't want someone sticking around and just going off doing anything. And so that was how come it kind of all fell around. That was it. So it's like you say, I think the headline is surprising, but when you actually look into it, it's not really that much of a shock.
No, I think you're right in a lot of senses there. And also as well, New England, obviously, in their history, have had Tom Brady. They took him in the 6th round. We all know about that. So we don't know really, though we know that history of Tom Brady and everything, they don't have any history of drafting quarterbacks in the last 20 years. So it's all very unpredictable there, you know. Whereas you look at other teams who have drafted quarterbacks, in the first round, it's not worked out, and they draft quarterbacks every year, or they just get a bit of a journeyman every year. You see the trends within certain teams, and then you look at the Patriots, who had Tom Brady for such an amount of time. There's no trend there, so they have had to go a bit off the cuff with what they're going to do. And they said, okay, we'll bring Cam Newton in for a year. They worked in his favor with their game plan of how it all was. It was successful in the sense of they worked to his game plan of he used his feet. He scored a lot of rushing touchdowns. He didn't throw the ball. He threw a lot of picks. But then they've taken a quarterback really high with the 15th pick. And I think everyone just doesn't really know what they were going to do. Like, actually, we all go, oh, the Patriots way would be that he would sit for like a year and do the Pat Mahomes thing. But really, the Patriot way for quarterbacks outside of Tom Brady isn't a way. There is no set thing for them, because they didn't realize what they got with Tom Brady and what happened subsequently after they got him and what happened in that history. And so they're almost starting from scratch in a way, even though their team is certainly not starting from scratch, even though they've got a load of wide receivers and they've brought in the tight ends. It's not started from scratch because they still had them base guys get there. But there is very much up in the air. You've got the best coaching system in NFL at New England. They're going to make it work. They've got to make it work, and they're going to make it work. It's Bill Belichick, and he's incredible. It is now of where Cam Newton goes. I really like the idea of him going to the Texans. I don't get why the Texans wouldn't take him. I think he's better than Tyrod Taylor. He fits their offensive system as a Deshaun Watson replacement if Deshaun Watson doesn't play. What about you with what you've seen him rumored? I've seen Steelers rumored. I've seen Cowboys rumored. What have you made of all of that?
I don't see where he goes this year. I really don't. I think the thing is with the Texans, firstly, you know, he would be a good fit there. I think he would kind of suit the style that they play when they've got Deshaun Watson playing. But I do feel that, they can't run anything at the moment. I mean, it is an absolute mess there. And I don't know if it's almost like this is just one massive way of trying to get the #1 pick next year. Whether they've seen someone that they just really like the look of, and it's all a bit of a, no, we're gonna do this. We're gonna completely reset everything, and this is what we're gonna do. So if that's what they're thinking, then there's no logical reason to bring in Cam Newton at all, because you don't want to win games, do you? Effectively, that's what that is. So I think because of that, there's no real reason to bring him in. When you look at the other teams, you do have teams like the Steelers where you sort of think to yourself, well, we all kind of know that this is it for Big Ben now. This is the last season and they're going to move on. But they seem to really like Mason Rudolph. They've just brought in Dwayne Haskins as well. So you sort of think to yourself, so they've already got two guys there who you might not like, but but they've already brought in two guys. So why are they going to bring in Cam Newton as well this year? It doesn't make any sense. I
agree that it makes no sense for him to go Steelers. Absolutely.
I don't know where he fits at the moment. I don't know. Like I say, he could, if Houston wanted to win games and wanted to try and do well, then he would fit. But they have shown no sort of desire in doing that with all the actions that they've had. So I can't really see that happening. And I can't really think of anywhere else where he's going to go, where he's going to start, because everyone else has already got their starters.
Yeah, you're very right. So since your pick at 13.5 Teddy Bridgewater, we've had Malcolm Brown, Miami, go to Andrew at 13.6, 13.7, Jacob Myers, like we said, 13.8, Cole Kmet, really good pick, I think that is. 13.9, Saints defense going to the Dallas Cowboys, Kirk Cousins on auto pick going 13.10. 13-11, Tevin Coleman, the Jets running back. 13-12, the Patriots defense. 13-13, the Cardinals. 13-14, James White. 14-1, Kenyon Drake. 14-2, Rashad Bateman is a good pick in the 14th round, I think. Wide receiver out of Baltimore. 14-3, Christian Kirk, Arizona. Brian Edwards or Brew. I feel like it's Brian Edwards. Las Vegas, 14.4. On auto pick, 14-5, Carlos Hyde of Jacksonville, going to Justice League of Harambe down there. Rashad Penny at 14-6, going last pick, which I think is an absolute dog shit pick, considering what you can get on the board. But that's just my opinion of it all. And we've got Byron Click Kingsbury, champion of the league last year, on the clock. There's a lot of players still on this board. There's a lot of bad players on this board, I admit, but there is a few good ones as well. Have you ever been in the winners' circle of fantasy football, Adam, or have you only ever been on the fringes?
No, I won a league last year, and I won a league the year before. So the last 2 years I've won one. I'm in about 6 or 7. I hate
that. I hate that. Got one.
So yeah, the last 2 years I've won one. But it's very difficult. And the one that I'm in, which is the high, like I say, I'm in money leagues, and the one that cost the most, I actually was top for the season, and then I can't remember what happened. I lost the semi-final, and I can't remember why. There's something. I had a player who just went down, and that was it. Because we were both scoring a lot of points, sort of thing, and that was it. But yeah, the one that I won last year, I was lucky enough to have Alvin Kamara on Christmas Day when he got 6 touchdowns. So.
Oh, Andrew Manning taking Pat Frymouth. Oh. My Pittsburgh man, he loves baby Gronk there. Your pick, though, 14-10. What are you doing here, buddy?
Right, so I feel like I've got to go for a defense, and actually the defense, well, there was 2 defenses that I wanted. Patriots have already gone. I think they're going to be very good with all the opt-outs coming back. But I'm going to go for the Cleveland Browns.
Good pick there. Gardner Minshew, straight up. Minshew Maniacs has to have Gardner Minshew on his team. The Philadelphia backup quarterback, or maybe potentially becomes a starting quarterback. I'm only one pick away. Minshew Maniacs. He had to go for him, didn't he? I mean, do you think he could legitimately start?
Philadelphia?
Yeah.
No, I don't think he'll beat out Jalen Hurts. I think Hurts I think he's a decent quarterback. I think he just probably needs some time to improve. Like, you got, what everyone forgets is that he hasn't actually played that many games. So I think with a bit of having the whole of the offseason, I think that's one thing that everyone's got to remember with the rookies from last year. They didn't have a proper preseason because of COVID. So I think having this preseason now, which has been much more, normal, not completely, but a lot more normal than it has been before, I think that will help them.
Who am I going to pick? What am I going to go for? It's going to be backup tight end. That's what I'm going to go for. But which one is the thing? Evan Engram still here. Serious cases of the drops. But what's his deal in New England? New York.
He just seems to get injured a lot, doesn't he?
I feel like we got told how good he is constantly.
Well, I think he was. In college, he was very good. From what, I must admit, I've never really seen any of him playing in college. But everyone would come out and go how amazing he was in college and how good he was.
How do you feel about the Chris Herndon thing? I think he could be. I'm not going to pick him. It's not for me personally, but I think that could work in Minnesota for him. That could really revitalize him.
Herndon's another one who there's been a lot of hype around ever since he's been in the league. It's never really happened, but he was at the Jets, so it didn't really help anybody. So I think maybe going to a team like Minnesota might work. He's going to have a quarterback who, he liked throwing the ball to Kyle Rudolph the last few years. So it's not the worst person there. I mean, I know you said you're not going to take him. I can't imagine he's going to get drafted by anyone. But
it's not a bluff either, I promise.
No, but as especially when it comes to fantasy, to pick up on the waiver wire if your tight end gets injured, he wouldn't be the worst person to pick up at all.
Brilliant. I'm on the clock.
Chris Herndon, here we come.
Yeah. I'm going to take Hunter Henry. I really like the idea. I sort of bought myself into Evan Engram a moment then and was like, no, I actually think Evan Engram's going to be one. But they've got so many wide receivers and I don't know. I'm not so. I really am bought into him, but then I completely flip at the same time and go like, but he has a serious case of There's so much out there saying how bad he is for the Giants, but I believe he's quite good for the Giants. But there's so many people who don't really. Again, he's not really fulfilled the opportunity. Hunter Henry was incredible at the Chargers and could be amazing. You said earlier that Andrew picked the wrong tight end. I just picked the right tight end?
Well, I think the right tight end in New England, but I don't think that he's. I don't really think that either of them are going to be particularly great for fantasy because I think they're probably going to take points off of each other, and you never really know which one is going to get it each week. I think that's going to be the problem. But I can understand why. I personally, I think Hunter Henry is probably. I think they're both good, but I think they're both going to take, points away from each other. So it's just a matter of who stays fit in that one. Because the first one who gets injured, the other one's going to get a massive bump.
Well, 14-14, AJ Green's gone there. 15-1, Giovanni Bernard. I took Chris Boswell, the Pittsburgh kicker, because Pittsburgh. So not really much to say. We're in the last round now. We obviously know that nobody has followed along with us because it has been 2.5 hours. So I'm sure no one has been that patient to stick with us throughout the whole way through, which is completely fine. This video is going to be online. You can find the best bits. We'll probably cut it down a little bit and put it on our YouTube as well. I really appreciate everyone who's supporting, and I appreciate everyone who's in this league as well. Really great guys. All these guys in this league have really supported the Franchise Tag podcast since the beginning, since it was just a chat over a pint between me and Dan, our editor. Since then, we've brought in Andrew, brought in Adam. We've got more editors coming in now. Brought in Ash as well, who you've met, who's our main social media lady and also going to be on the podcast as well. So we really thank you for your support that you've had. Thank you for the support that you've had for the future of the franchise series throughout the summer. That's been great as well. We're going to have shows, hopefully, weekly, 3 shows a week, hopefully. 2 live and 1 recorded. We'll just have to see how that goes. So, we've got to pivot with these things and we'll see how that goes. We've done this tonight because hopefully we're going to do a live fantasy program or a pre-recorded one, a fantasy program of some being between Adam and Andrew about this league, about fantasy football every week. Hopefully that all happens, and it's going to be good fun. There's lots of things going to happen in the Franchise Tag podcast this year, so keep watching, keep listening on YouTube, on Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. We'll be at the Tottenham games as well. We'd love to see you there, have a beer with you, chat some NFL. We're all here to love and to chat and to take the piss out of each other because of the NFL, and it's a sport that is just growing over here, and we all love it. So get as many friends as you can do involved and pass this podcast on to your friends as well. Again, appreciate this is a really long video. You don't have to watch all of it. Completely understand, but you don't want to watch all of it. There has been some fun bits and some interesting bits. There has been some lulls in time, I admit. But this is fantasy football drafts, isn't it? This is what we do. It's what we do with our friends, and it's the exact same way whenever we do it. And we're on to the last 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 picks now. Adam, your pick's going to be very soon. Have you found this draft? What has been your highlights? What has been your shocks? Have you had now a good grasp of this league now, of what people's knowledge is, and who's the good guys, who's the guys you need to watch out for? Who you worried about in this league, my
man? I think looking at it, who I'm worried about. I mean, obviously, our fantasy expert is meant to be pretty good, isn't he? He's got himself a pretty solid team there.
Andrew Manning,
Mr. Manning, yeah, he's got himself a pretty solid team. Right. Although I have to say, I think he's been out drafted by his dad. I have to say.
That's the best team that Trev Manning's ever drafted, I promise you.
He's got himself
he's hit a home run there, bless him.
He's got himself a very good team there.
He's doing great there.
So he looks he's looking pretty good.
I'll put it on. I've got it on the screen at the start, and I'll go through it slowly. We don't need to go pick by pick, but just to see the teams here. I mean, the running backs, it was a joke after the third round, wasn't it? Really. After the third, nothing.
Well, I think it happens in most leagues, though. It's just one. Actually, Minshew Maniacs looks like he's got a decent start, and then it kind of all falls apart.
It fell very quickly.
A little bit. Yeah, I as I've said, I think you need to have a good base, a good solid base. I think. Is it the Phallus Cow?
The Phallus Cowboys, yeah.
Cowboys, sorry. I've only got the thing on the phone. He's got a really decent pick there, decent lot, which I think will do quite well. I think, you've got Zeke, Antonio Gibson, AJ Brown, Tyler Lockett. The Robert Tonyan one's a bit of a reach, but he's got a really good quarterback in Tannehill. And then some decent bench players as well with people like, Will Fuller in Miami. I know it's his first year, but, he'll do well. Antonio Brown will probably pick up a few bits. Russell Gage, it's a decent squad there that he's got. So I think I can see that going well.
I feel like Andrew's hopped on the bus with us, with me taking my Pittsburgh kicker, you taking your Green Bay kicker, and now Andrew taking his New York Giants kicker.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then
Evan Ingram going as well.
Yeah, Blake Jarwin going at the 15-4 as well. Down to the last 2, 4, 6, 7 picks. A lot of it is going to be auto draft now, so this will bears by pretty quickly. Unless Click Kingsbury wants to live up to his name, I suppose, and take forever. But I'm glad that you've enjoyed it. Welcome to the league, I suppose. And this is what it's all about: us having fun, us taking the piss, us joking around, and enjoying NFL together. I mean, we try to watch as much as we can do together. We do have NFL Sundays back in Leicester to go around each other's houses and watch the games, but we don't. Obviously, me being in London and everyone being here, there, and everywhere, it doesn't happen as much, but we'll all be at the Tottenham ground as well. I think not everyone, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 of this 14-man league are going to be at one of the Tottenham games. So you'll get to meet a load of them at the games, which is really cool. We had Justice Hill, running back at Baltimore at 15-8, 15-9, Ryan Suckup at Tampa Bay, T.Y. Hilton 15-10, Alexander Masterson 5-11, 15-11 is a really fucking good pick, I think. 15-12, Chuba Hubbard by Big Trev Manning just keeps rolling in, doesn't he? Just keeps getting the big hitters here, bless him. Brandon McManus at the 15-13, Mr. Irrelevant. The 15-14 is Derek.
Surely it should have been Andy Dalton, shouldn't it?
Oh, well, I don't know, Derek. It should have been Andy Dalton.
Should have been Andy Dalton.
Draft, I believe.
I'm
going to stop sharing the screen now. Well, thank you for all joining us this evening. I know it's been a bit of a long one, I admit. Thank you for watching. I'm going to probably go bed and sleep this off, and probably get a load of text now saying how crap my team is. Adam, I'm glad you've enjoyed it, my man. This has been an interesting experience, right?
Yeah, it's been good. No, I've enjoyed it, and like I say, a lot of them are going to be there at the London Games. Look forward to meeting them and all of that. So yeah, it'd be great, and look forward to destroying you all in this league when my man Trey Lance comes along and absolutely annihilates you.
I think you've got the wrong rookie there. You've got my man Justin Fields coming along pounding everyone in this league. I'm going to be wearing the crown, the Irv Smith jersey, holding the trophy, and I'm going to have my foot on top of the person wearing the Dalton jersey. That's what's going to happen. Thank you for watching, listening to the Franchise Tag podcast. It's been a long one. I'm a bit drunk, but it's all good. We've had a good time. I've had a bit of pizza. Adam's chatted some bit when he was on his own. We took the piss out of people. We had some fun. Empire Fantasy Football. You need to go check it out. It's a new way to play fantasy football. It's free. Go sign up today. EmpireFF.com. Really great guys over there. If you love fantasy football, it's a new way to play it. There's some rules. There you got a big team with like some money or something. I can't even remember anymore. But it's really cool. Go and check it out. It's a new way to play fantasy football. It's a bit different to everything that is usual. Have a great rest of your week. NFL is only 4 days away. 4 days, Adam. It's been a long summer, man. It's been it's been a long summer, and today's been the hottest day, and it's probably just going to go downhill from here.
Yeah,
but it's okay.